Press this one. Press this one. Check. Check. There we go. Hello, everybody. Hello. Is that we just being quiet now? Everybody was talking fine before the.
Oh, you said hello
the
there,
microphones. Are we waiting? I've got to do professional intro today. Oh man, it's
I want you to
Tuesday.
just be quiet and let you sweat it out, man. You know how I am. I like to let you sweat a little bit.
Yes. Yes, everybody. How's it going? It's are we on mute? No, we're not on mute. Everything's up and running. We're good.
Hopefully so.
Yes. I think everything's working fine. Let us know if there's any music playing in the background or anything. You know, it's a different day than usual, so we have no idea what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? But of course, let's quickly run through things. Ben isn't here yet. He will be joining us shortly, I'm sure. But for now, we have myself, Macky. We have Monkey. Do you want to say hello, Monkey?
Hey guys, Monkey, you know me. I'm back.
Yep. That's us. We have Bryan. What's up, Bryan?
What's up, guys? Excited to be back again. We had you on our show a couple of weeks ago as well.
Yes.
Just excited to always do these collabs. And, you know, I love talking about cannabis, but it is fun to every now and then talk about something that's really has nothing to do with cannabis, and the conspiracy aspects of life. It's kind of fun when you're sitting around smoking and kind of going back and forth between friends.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. It's always a good conversation. Thanks for joining us again, bro. Yeah, man. And we have Connor as well. Connor has returned too.
I have indeed. How you doing, lads?
Yes. It's all good, bro. It's all good. Good and high.
Yeah, I've got a fucking beautiful bit of hash here just for the ready.
Nice.
Oh, nice. You got some hash. Do you know what kind of hash it is, or it's just?
I don't know, man. It came as fucking like there's no lighter required. It's blonde as anything.
Oh,
but it came with like a Dragon Ball Z character fucking on the front. So I don't know what it is, man.
Nice. So yeah, you're gonna be getting super stoned.
Super sane.
But that's good. That's good. We're gonna get super high. We're gonna be discussing the things that we didn't cover last time in this episode, because I fired up the wheel of names which you had before, and the list is still there. So just as a refresher to everybody, in case you did come along to the first conspiracy episode and now you've joined us for the sequel, we already covered a shitload of things, and for this episode we'll be covering JFK, 9/11 conspiracies, the moon landings, we have COVID, Alexandria Library, Mother Teresa, shenanigans. Now, I have no idea why you have shenanigans just randomly written here. Does anybody know what that's about?
Don't know.
No idea. But we'll try and figure that out. Maybe somebody in the chat will know. But we also have Flat Earth and MK Ultra. So we'll spin the wheel and we'll have the wheel choose randomly a topic that we're going to talk about. And then we'll just chat about it for a while and then move on to another one. Hopefully we'll get them all done today, but maybe not. We'll see what happens. We're just going to chill, smoke some weed, get high, and talk about some random conspiracy stuff.
Man, what you mean get high? We already high.
That's very true. It's like get high, stay a nice balanced high. You know?
There you go.
How did that's a good question there, Giant Grasses. How did the moon buggy fit inside that tiny spaceship?
It was a Harry Potter spaceship. You know, it's bigger on the inside, like the TARDIS. Yeah.
Now it all makes sense.
Yes.
It could just be one of those just add water moon buggies, you know, 2 little drops of water, and it's like,
I love it. Dehydrated moon buggy. Just
Yeah,
like was Marvin the Martian used to do that all the time with those his Martian friends. Yes.
It's a good question, the whole moon landing thing, because I think that we did land on the moon. Surely we did. Surely. But anyway, that's on the wheel, man. You're trying to make us jump the conversation. We're just chilling right now. Let's smoke a little bit of weed. What are you smoking on, Connor? You got that hash, but what you mixing
I've got the
it
hash.
with?
I've got the hash in the pipe. Got 2 fucking draws left because I had that when I came in for work. And in the joint, I'm sitting with Z33.
Okay, I haven't heard that one before.
Yeah, I typed it in on Leafy and or Leafly, and it only had Z3 on it, and it described the same attributes you would expect after consumption, but it didn't. I couldn't find Z33. I'm assuming it's some form of additional hybrid or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weed, innit? It's weed.
Yeah, it's the job, man.
Indeed. Well, you got Bryan. What are you smoking on, bro?
Today I'm smoking on the Goonberry, which is red berries crossed with the Hood Sweets. Very uplifting kind of high. So I should be excited to kind of put my tinfoil hat on here and go down these crazy rabbit holes with you boys.
I hear Billy is out there with some tinfoil socks on. Ain't you, Billy?
Ouch. If you know what I mean, Billy. Ouch.
Yeah, man. What you got, Monkey? What are you smoking on today?
I got some Argyle stash. That's
Oh,
Nakatomi
cool.
Plaza crossed with pineapple chunk. And yeah, they're very much sativa dominant. So I'm very much ready for some conspiracy myself. Yes.
Very nice. Very nice. Yes, lots to cover today. We're just gonna wait for Ben to arrive now. Where is he? You're making me nervous. But he was like 5
Fashionably
minutes late last time, wasn't he? He wasn't on time. He's probably trying to log into Zoom, and he's got an update or something. I think that happened last time. He might only use Zoom when he speaks to us.
I think
be
he
honest,
just wants to make an entrance, you know, he has to make a grand entrance.
at risk of repeating the same joke, maybe the conspiracy folk have got him, man. That's
Oh
it.
yeah,
The
they've got
news
to
coming
him.
on it.
They've got to him. Who's next? Speaking of who's next, right? Because that reminds me of like a Dr. Dre song, which then reminds me of like hip hop, R&B, which then reminds me of Puff Daddy Coombs. Have you all been keeping up with what's going on there? It's like the music industry's Epstein.
No.
Ah, this isn't on the list, so we can briefly discuss that now.
No, boy.
Has nobody seen this? No, he has like a.
I've
They
seen
were. Yeah, you've seen it, Brian. Cool. So I'm not crazy. But apparently,
some of the
it was,
stuff that they talk about was is kind of crazy though.
They're pretty much doing the Jeffrey Epstein thing, but P Diddy doing it instead. So fucked up shit, man. It's a crazy industry, isn't it? When you get up the top there with these cabals, man, these cults, these organizations, whatever the fuck you want to call them. It's crazy.
What's kind of weird about that? Did Cat Williams not talk about that on the?
Cat Williams started saying shit, man. That was funny as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, good TV. And then he went on Joe Rogan as well and went on for ages. I like Cat Williams for his comedy. Let's just say that, you know. But yeah, funny guy. He's hilarious, man. But he said some interesting things too. I've listened to that podcast he was on. I can't remember the name of the podcast because that's the only episode of that particular podcast I've ever listened to. But then I heard the one where it was on Joe Rogan as well. And yeah, it seems as if people are talking about this kind of stuff a little bit more nowadays. You know what I mean? Is like the word Illuminati seems to be on people's tongues a lot more than it used to be. People are waking up to this shit, man.
Well, that's an interesting. Are they? I mean, it sounds silly because sometimes it's like mostly people doing independent research and finding stuff. I get that, but sometimes I just think to myself that this is like an acceleration. They wanted it to be in plain sight, hide in plain sight, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It could be, man. It's just this.
No, you're right, because that's what they do, isn't it? That's what they do. They put it in plain sight, so it's kind of hidden, but they know it's there. It's some ritual thing that they do. To be like, look, we told you about it, but they didn't really tell us. That's why The Simpsons make so many accurate predictions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And sometimes it's like it's the magic ritual thing. It's like the magician. They're going to tell you what it is. They do their potion, their concoction, their alchemical transformation, and then you get the end result. And you're sitting there as the unwilling victim of like this process continuously. It's problem reaction solution almost on like a physical sense kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to conjure it in a way. See, I don't believe in all the magic and the occult thing. That doesn't work for me. I just think that they're just evil fuckers,
Yeah, they believe in it though. They believe in that.
Yeah, they believe in it for sure. They must do. They're crazy fuckers, man. Damn. Yeah, some of the interesting things like Cat Williams was talking about in the Joe Rogan one as well. He was talking about different gods and things. It's interesting. But are these people really that crazy? These people at the top, they really believe all this shit. Oh man,
It's more about it's like the question of it's like not if they believe it or if it's a possibility. It's like different realms of reality. Obviously, their senses are based in stopping information getting in more than blocking it. It's I'm not sure. I mean, I'm pretty certain. Was it not a couple of hundred years ago they used to teach this stuff as practical action? I'm aware some things get filtered out. I don't know. I find it difficult that if they put so much effort into. I think my main thing, without going too much of a tangent, is about they're trying to control consciousness. That's the nature of what magic is. That's about infiltrating your consciousness, and the longer they can maintain a presence in your consciousness, the longer their influence is present, essentially. And that's why I think the music videos going into the entertainment industry, because that's that is explicitly consciousness ingestion, essentially. So there's people don't spend so much amount of time on something if it's not at the very minimum pragmatic or for their end result.
Mm.
Whether or not it's true or not, and then that, it's a whole different game. But it's very obvious that they think there's something there for them to spend so much time fucking trying to make sure that they're present in our mind.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it goes that deep. It probably does, because it seems all occulty and things like that. It just, they're not doing it just for playing a game. They do seem to be doing it for some specific reason. I just find it difficult to believe in that spiritual side of things, but I can fully believe that they do believe in that shit. And I don't know, man. What do you think, Bryan?
On everything, or just like specifically? What we're
Yeah,
talking
well,
about?
everything, man. Yeah, just like, do you think the Illuminati is just one of the terms people use for them? The Majestic 13. There's all different kinds. Them, they, those guys at the top, the puppet masters. What do you think their intentions are?
I think the fall of Rome and all of those things, if we're really going to get into this, I think that actually became the Roman Catholic Church. And so they actually never lost real power. And so I don't necessarily know if I would call it the Illuminati anymore, but there's definitely very weird and super, super dark secrets in the Vatican. And the way that the Vatican is protected, armed guards with a border, like a wall, basically, when they're telling other places that you don't need those kind of things, is very telling to me about what the elite really see, and the way that the elite kind of see the general population. And in my opinion, they kind of see us as cattle or just another, social security number. And so when it comes to that kind of stuff, I definitely think that there are like a puppet master behind the scenes. And so the president changes. It's almost, if you go back and like kind of follow history, it's usually 8 years on one side and 8 years on the other. And so this is a telling time, I think, in history to kind of see what's going to happen with this election, because it does seem to me that Trump is an outsider, but at the same time, he still rubs elbows with the upper elite. So the fact that they're smearing him and that kind of stuff, the way that the things are happening against him. I'm not a Trump supporter, by the way. I'm not trying to. I just think that it's very telling about who's actually behind the scenes controlling things, trying to actually take them down. And I guess I'll finish this point with, before Elon Musk bought Twitter, it seemed like it was a voice box of what everybody was saying. And if you dig deeper into that, it was actually a bunch of robots trying to get the consciousness of mankind to start to believe a lot of wild and crazy different things. So for there to be like an Illuminati type thing that's going after the general population's mind, I wouldn't put it past the government.
As you would say on the Bryan and Marco show, dropping bars, bro. I fucking agree 100%.
Appreciate it. Yeah, that's why I love doing this shit with you guys, because it's nice to talk to people that are just as crazy as I am.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm definitely a little unhinged, to say the least. To say the least. What do you think, Monkey? Do you think there's like an Illuminati, some kind of shadow government controlling the whole world?
Possibility, yes. I think we are only aware of what we consider the rich people. I don't think we're quite aware as a general public of the insanely rich people, the people that you never know about and protected by so many deep layers of different things. And I believe that there are these types of people in here that have so much money and so much authority that they can steer the world and the world economy, I should put. But a lot of times you can steer the world by steering the economy. If you control the money and you control the people, then you can pretty much make a lot of decisions that really screws the world up. I don't think that the Illuminati is, an extension of the Knights Templar and all that kind of stuff like that. I'm thinking of it more of like almost like an invitation only, and nobody else, almost like the conspiracy stuff that you see on some of these movies about the super, super, super rich. I believe that there is a segment out there somewhere that does do this and does definitely affect the lives of everybody around them. And we don't know about it. And if we did, we would be completely outraged, but would still not be able to do anything about it.
Yeah, that's the thing. How can we do something about it when they seem so powerful?
They're protected by so many millions and billions and trillions of dollars of whatever they want. And unfortunately, in today's world, money is power. That's just the way it is, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I really don't think that, you know, there's a group of guys meeting down in dark rooms with robes doing ceremonies and shit like that. No, that's just sci-fi movies, in my opinion.
Yeah, man. Interesting
That
shit. Sorry,
See,
Can
Brian.
that's the
I add
thing, though.
it? Well, I just wanted to talk about the robes thing, which is super, super creepy. I've actually seen that in Savannah, Georgia. There's like the original Scottish Rite Freemasons, and then there was something that was like there was like a Knights Templar type thing that was going on. And then that's what made me learn about Alex Jones when he went out to Bohemian Grove and where they wear these robes and stuff. So I don't know if some organizations are really into that, because it does seem like Skull and Bones is really big into like wearing robes and being naked with your boys and coffins and some really fucking weird shit, man, to be honest. But there's something to that, which is like you cover your face or whatever, and I guess you participate in some fucked up shit, and then because you are a part of those things, especially in Bohemian Grove, it seems like then you're allowed to hobnob and rub elbows with some of the world's elite. And so that's the other part that's weird to me, is like what really goes on in the woods. Because if you haven't watched that video of Alex Jones when he snuck into the Bohemian Grove area, it's very creepy. I mean, they're burning an effigy. It's there's symbolism to burning like a human effigy. It's not obviously a real human, but the fact that it might have been back in the day, even, is that all that stuff is creepy.
Alex Jones is a legend as well.
Certainly in this context, definitely.
Yeah. He's a little bit crazy, don't get me wrong, but he's been right 95% of the time.
Yeah. And the thing is, like what Brian was saying there, I've seen that as well. I'm sure like vast majority of the internet's seen that. And that's what makes me like the whole magic thing. And I mean, my own personal preference, if we're going fucking super crazy, my general belief in life, obviously doing the art all the time, like fucking cartoons, I've spent intensive amount of time in the process of developing a craft, as much of us have. And what I believe firmly is that there's alchemy. Alchemy is central in reality for us as the like the bridging point between science and religion, and this is the practical application of engaging in spiritual action through physical matters. And I believe that that's what these individuals at the top tiers of society, they're aware of this relatively esoteric knowledge, and there is also like a spectrum of energy which can be engaged in through these practices. And that's where you get, obviously, it's the white magic, black magic, all that kind of shit, and it's intention. It's intention orientated, and I think the whole basis behind stealing people's consciousness is about removing focus. And I think, like, talking about the hoods and shit like that, I genuinely believe that's why they put fucking hoods on, because everything else is blocked out. They're focusing, they're just fucking looking down, you know, they look fucking weird as fuck. But I think that's all of these different things. I genuinely believe that's what's going on, is that they're aware of. It's like Tesla says, everything, if you want to learn the laws of the universe, it's learn it in terms of frequency, vibration, and energy. You know, it's these principles that I think that they're enacting on, and I think there's a lot to be said for like emotional forces, and I mean, fuck, you feel it when you go and watch like football or fucking a huge sporting event. You feel it then. There's a obviously a pack mentality, but there's a collective. That's what I'm looking for. There's a collective energy which is present. You know, and I think that's what's happening, and I think that's why they put so much effort into making sure that your consciousness is fucking stolen. You know, and it's all based in like illusion. I think that's what this is all about. You know, I think that's why we're the illuminated ones, because we're the ones that excel above the fucking the pond of fucking like confused, disorientated public. You know, and if we're kind of going on that side, it's, you know, it's largely extremely wealthy individuals. You know, like at the very top, because I don't know if you know, like Fritz Springmeier, his whole fucking bloodlines and shit like that. You know, it's this podcast is going to be about 19 hours long, lads.
Yeah, man. Oh, I thought you were just saying this podcast will be 19 hours long, and then you were just going to carry on ranting about something.
No. It doesn't. If I continue, fucking 19 hours long, so I'll just wrap up there.
Yeah, man, it goes deep, doesn't it? It goes fucking deep, man. And it's a big web of all sorts of things. Being a conspiracy realist, as Ben would say, it can be difficult sometimes. You can seem like a right crazy person, but if you just have a little bit of patience and wait about 6 months, you prove right most of the time. You know, that's the thing with these conspiracy theories. You know, some of them They just want us to seem crazy to start with, but eventually the truth comes out, man. So I did message Ben there, and I don't know, he'll join us in a bit. Do you think we should spin this wheel? What are we saying in the
Yeah,
chat?
go ahead, man.
Do we wait for Ben for 5 more minutes, or should we spin the wheel and pick one of these topics? What do you all think? Let us know in the chat. Here's the wheel. Look, here you go.
The wheel of doom.
Landing. Firetop says it's real, man. It's all in plain sight. Wait for Ben. Spin it. Just planting seeds.
Macky, it sounds like a poll time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you think we should put a poll? I think we should put a poll. Actually.
Wait for Ben or go now.
Yeah, we can. Oh, it's 4:20 somewhere. Smoke,
It
everybody,
is.
smoke.
East Coast 420.
It's I'm gonna get echo for a second here. So I'm gonna click this link. Hold on. This link. There we go. See, I told you it would happen. Right, got it. Right, poll then, everybody. Let's do it. Let's do it. Start a poll. Spin or wait 5 minutes. There you go. All right. So we spin a wheel.
So yeah, and we'll reveal the answer in 5 minutes, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Spin. We'll give you 2 minutes to answer. All right. That's what we'll do. So everybody get ready. Okay. Ready, steady, go.
So there's a 3-minute head start at stake
Yeah.
here, guys.
Yeah,
Do
there
you
you
want
go.
us to go 3 minutes? Or you want to give Ben an extra 3? You know,
Here we go. Let's see what happens.
this is called the ultimate time
Oh,
waster.
wait
here,
for
you know?
Ben. Oh, it's 50-50. It's
Ah,
wait for Ben.
see?
50. Oh, spin. Look at this. Gone. Make your decision known. Vote. And hit that like button as well, everybody, while you're there interacting with the screen. Just drop a little click on that thumb button. That would be sweet. Much appreciated. Yeah, so it can't be 50-50. You can't you can't pass the decision back to us. We're passing it to you because we don't want to make it.
There you go. Now we got it moving now.
Here we go. Spin is on
Oh, yeah.
56%. Oh, Spin is in the lead here. And you watch, you'll join now. After all this,
It worked.
you'll join and be like, there we go. Magic. Yeah, he hasn't messaged back or anything. I'm sure it'd be. Sometimes the times get confused, you know? It's
They do.
he'll probably show up in like 40 minutes and be like, oh, I thought it was now. Because that happens sometimes too. Damn time zones. I think you should make a poll and determine which of the wheel is most true and which. Ooh, yeah, but you can only do 4 votes at a time on the poll, unfortunately. So you can't do big ones. Let's give this 1 more minute. And then we'll close it down. And it looks like. Which one's in the lead? I don't even see it now. Oh, goddamn. So many windows open. Hold on, everybody. Hold on. Oh, Spin is on 64%. We got 22 votes. That's only half of you out there voting. Come on, everybody. Come on. I think they might all be busy rolling or something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Tick, tick, tick. Right, that's it. I'm going to end it. Should we do it?
End it. That means
End
we
it.
go.
And it says spin. So we're going to do it. Let's put it on the screen here. So again, I'll tell you all what we have. So you all know what's going on. We have JFK, 9/11, the moon landings, COVID, Alexandria Library, Mother Teresa, shenanigans, which we don't know what it is anyway, Flat Earth, and MK Ultra. There we go. We're going to spin it. And whatever it chooses, we'll remove from the wheel. Let's do it. Spinning, spinning. Oh, it's going to be MK Ultra, I think. It's going to be MK Ultra. There we go. Okay. Does everybody know what MK Ultra is?
Yeah.
Yeah, surface based.
Sorry?
I've got surface based knowledge on MK.
Yeah. I don't know too much about it either. I just know pretty much the American government was given, and this is proven. This is this isn't even conspiracy theory. This is documented and released, right? This is real.
They finally came clean about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
at least they came clean about some of it. Put it that way, you know.
Well, they were pretty much just dosing people, the American citizens, with high doses of LSD.
Yeah. Sometimes even some of their own people, they would dose them in private just to see how they would react, because they wanted to see if LSD or other come on, can't say it. Psychedelic, other psychedelic medicines though could work for brain control, is what they were looking for, you know.
Yeah, really high doses as well. It's not like the little drops we have on the paper nowadays. They were giving ridiculous amounts. So that shit with that, man, are we even allowed to say it on YouTube? Because I've been looking into that Ted Kaczynski guy. You see that the Unabomber, was it the Unibomber? Is that his name?
That was the Unabomber. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And he was apparently a really intelligent guy, like a higher IQ than Einstein and Stephen Hawking. And they got him into MK Ultra. And he was really good at maths and shit. Got him into MK Ultra, smashed him with loads of acid. And then he went crazy and became the Ted Kaczynski he's famous for being. You know what I mean?
Is that what they attribute his actions to? Was the MK
No,
Ultra?
no, it's just that he was part of MK Ultra. I don't know whether that I don't know, man. I think that's part of the conspiracy, is the way he was because of the high doses of LSD. Like extremely high doses. But I'm not too sure. What are you saying, Brian? Do you know anything about this?
I do, yeah. MK Ultra, I think it shows you what the government is willing to do sometimes. And when we were just talking about, like, are there people in secret that probably sit around and think about weird things like this? When this was proven, it kind of again just shows what is possible. And so Ted Kaczynski hated technology was the other thing. That's why he lived in a cabin, no plumbing, no electricity, writing manifestos. The only reason he even got caught was because of the way that he spoke. He used certain language and certain verbiage in certain ways, actually, that almost no one spoke like that. And that's the reason why his brother and his brother's wife were actually listening and to the news, and was, they were broadcasting some of his demands. And that's actually how he was discovered. Yeah. So a lot of people believe if that wouldn't have happened, he would have continued to terrorize. And so I think there's something to these, like Timothy McVeigh, some of these guys. Timothy McVeigh was at Waco when they burned all that stuff down. And then, of course, he goes to Oklahoma City and does the Oklahoma City bombing. So some of these extremists see things firsthand. And I think that's why you see some of this stuff that comes back throughout history, is that maybe Ted Kaczynski really did go, saw the other side when they're giving him that much LSD. And he saw that technology was going to destroy humanity, because that's what he was claiming.
Damn. Gosh, man, we're going deep now. We're going deep. This is talking about CIA and shit. And they don't mess around,
No, man, I heard that they had taken in the MK Ultra thing, they had like dosed towns' water supplies just to see how people would interact and things like that on low doses, sometimes on high doses. But it was all just a big social experiment at the people's expense.
And you know what's fucking crazy? This is just the things we know about. What's hidden, man? What else have they done that was so heinous that they won't even tell us about it? Fuck. Damn, sorry. What do you think, Connor? What's the score here, man?
MK Ultra. So the only really bits and pieces I've seen about MK Ultra was I watched the thing. I think it was like Project Camelot, I think it was called. And there was like a female on it who was Henry Kissinger's assistant, or she the role that she played was that her sole job was to retain information that couldn't be documented, like physically, and it was like psychological techniques applied, like hypnosis and stuff like that, for them to retain on this information. And like also bits and pieces, like people were used essentially as like sex slaves in the same context, under like hypnosis and fucking mind tricks and shit like that, for MK Ultra. Yeah, I think it's like you mentioned just briefly there, man. What we don't know is the most, like, we know this is okay, that like this is on the surface, we know this. So yeah, I don't Yeah, that's essentially my whole fucking limit, quite honestly, when it comes to that MK Ultra. I mean, if anything, MK Ultra is the extension of MK Ultra is mainstream media, pop culture, fucking what they feed us, that kind of
Yeah,
shit. That's
yeah.
probably the biggest extension of MK Ultra nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, we know that this happened in the US with the CIA. Do you think there's anything that like this has ever happened in the UK?
Oh,
Fucking, of course. What?
It was
Might as well
probably
have.
our idea, mate.
Fucking right, man. That's ongoing in real time now. Fucking
You
hell.
know, it's like, yo, UK, do you know, we've got this stuff, man, and we need to test it, but we just can't think of anything, like, morally to do it. It's like, oh, no, mate, well, you do it, and you got to think about the future. This is for the good of mankind. Just poison your citizens, and just get a little group of them, and, you know, you can maybe even get them to volunteer for it. Oh, yeah, thanks, UK. Thanks, see you later. Love you, boo.
Oh, man.
Fucking hell. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't.
So we-
I don't have much faith or trust in the government, and it would not surprise me if they did do things like this. And the only thing that stops me thinking that they would do it is they're massively incompetent as well. You know what I mean?
Listen, so you're saying that it is highly possible that it was a UK Ultra?
Yeah, but we covered it up better. You know, anybody who knew about it was silenced permanently.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
They sent the
Crazy.
female James Bond after them. You know?
Ooh.
Hey, when
Yeah,
you
man.
had mentioned that people are incompetent, that is so true. Like the masses seem to be so true. Like just the hysteria and stuff. Even during COVID, right? Everybody was overbuying products just because of like the simplest little thing. And so in Savannah, like all these people are Freemasons and they wear the rings and they do these secret handshake things right there in the public, in the streets, the whole fucking gamut. And what I noticed is that there was like these average Freemasons and they seem pretty ignorant to almost the entire thing. And then there are these dudes that are like the 32 and 33 degree Masons. And they actually wear a lot of that symbolism like boldly in your face if you know what to look for. And I feel like those type of people in life, and obviously at the government level, it'd be like these type of people times 10. Those individuals have some kind of aura, man, that it seems like they understand the way the world works just a little bit better than the average person. And for whatever reason, when they sit around and talk about these things, it seems like they help each other out because at least from a Freemason point of view, they do seem esoteric in nature. Like they say, you know, you have to believe in a God, but they don't discern what God. And a lot of people have also noticed that God is usually a lowercase God, meaning that it could be anything to you. And so there's a lot of interesting facts to me about that, because Freemasonry is heavily involved in America as she was shaped. The birth of her, there was a gentleman, or supposedly there was somebody that was in a cloak. And some people say, you know, you can go down the rabbit hole pretty deep on this, but a lot of the designs and stuff for America was supposedly given by somebody in a cloak. And there's a, I don't know if you can pull this stuff up, Macky, but there's a statue still that's kind of like in honor of this cloaked individual that gave this information to George Washington.
I think I remember now. This is don't take me as 100% positive on this, but I think I
Oh
heard.
yeah, just say that, you know, everything we
Okay,
speak
no,
about
no,
here
no.
is bullshit. Yeah, big
That's right.
disclaimer.
No
Yeah.
problem. No problem. But anyway, I heard that the cornerstone of the White House was laid in a Freemason ceremony. And I have no question that possibly could be true, because George Washington himself, if I'm not mistaken, was a Freemason. So, I mean, that's highly possible, which would I mean, even put a tighter connection to, you know, the Freemasons Illuminati connection back into the U.S. government.
But do you think these organizations have gone from their initial founding, like the Illuminati, I think was made in the 1600 in Germany by a man called Adam Weishaupt, something like that, and it was originally designed to get the best and the brightest to come together to come up with ideas to better humanity. You know, get all the smart guys together and think, how can we fix this shit? And that's what it originally started as, and maybe over time it has just evolved into be something more sadistic, you know. And that could be the same with the Freemasons as well, because I don't think it was a case that they were always, or maybe they're not even dodgy, they just have a bad reputation because of a secret society, because they do actually exist. You can join the Freemasons. You know, I have a friend who is a Mason. It's
My next door neighbor is. My father was. You know.
yeah. So that
Actually,
shit is
Steve,
real. It's just like how high does it go and what level does it get crazy?
Right.
The town that I stay in, I could walk. I mean, I'm like 90 seconds away from a Freemason lodge. It's and I can't remember. I don't know the number of it. But when you walk past, and that's what's quite interesting about this town, there are because I was thinking about the states essentially and how it's structured there, with like the buildings, the Pentagon, you know, just the structure essentially, and that's what's kind of like in this town, where it's, you know, there are specific brickwork that's very similar to symbology that's Freemasonry, you know, and just around the town locally. And when you go past, so if you type in online the name of the lodge, you can go in, you essentially get a virtual tour, and it's got the black and white floor. They've got the Eye of Horus on the wall. They've also got the fucking, like, the sunshine coming from the back of it, obviously the illuminated element. There's like a goat's ram's head, all that kind of shit. And if it wasn't for the fact that, I mean, I'm interested in all this kind of stuff, you know, if I find this fascinating, if it wasn't for the fact that it looks so flowery to wear all that shit and to be standing dressed up like a fucking dude, I would totally be up for it. I would go along and be like, what are you talking about? Because that's what this is. We're trying to figure out what the fuck's going on in the world, and these guys seem to be holding on to some form of information, as you mentioned, about something. It could be bullshit, but they think it's important. So, but yeah, I'd be totally up for going and chapping the door and be up for that, but fuck wearing that shit, man.
Damn, it looks flowery, you know.
It does, man. You're standing there. Nobody would wear that if there wasn't something seriously important behind it. Nobody would do that, man. You know?
Yeah, so yeah, MK Ultra, everybody. Yes, at least we can hope at least that whoever was involved in MK Ultra at least had a good time, you know. Yeah, but I think that would have been just far too intense. You know, imagine a high dose of acid like that. Numerous times as well. It was like once a week or something they'd go in there and have this shit. It's not just like a one-off. Damn.
Man, that's just crazy. Too much.
Yeah, too much, man. Damn. Ooh-wee. Should we spin this wheel again, shall we? I think we should. I think we should. Let's see what's the next controversial topic for us to talk about. Here we go. We should read some of these comments first. Some comments there from the chat about this. I think genetic memory farms, people were had their mind blown there by he said, and really aren't our phones the best tether we could ever have? We voluntarily post our info and walk around staring at a tiny screen. Maybe YouTube and social media is the result of MK Ultra. Maybe.
I think social media and phones are more powerful than MK Ultra, actually.
Oh yeah, because it's a drug upon itself.
It is.
Hey, do you guys know who funded Google?
Nope.
U.S. government.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
U.S. government.
Right.
And so once they understood that algorithm, apparently, again, this is some of this is tinfoil hat, but that part is true. That Google got funding, initial startup money from the government. Was that once the CIA basically figured out that these two boys, Sergey and I forget the other gentleman's name, Bryn maybe or something like that, the two Google founders, they knew something that no one else knew. They knew, however they built this algorithm was so much better than Bing and all Ask Jeeves, all of like those early ones that we remember, that it dominates the search engine today, that almost nobody uses anything else but Google. And think about what Google owns. They own YouTube now. So almost every single search, whether you're looking for research, pictures, or video, is owned by Google.
Yeah. Google's it's just a huge company, man. It's got to be the biggest, isn't it? I mean, and the most powerful. And they're starting to be called virtual governments as well, these companies, because that's what they are, with the amount of power that they have and the way that they can sway the opinions of a population. It's on the verge of being very fucking dangerous, man. In many different ways.
It's interesting. The thing that pops to mind. You ever seen the film Network?
Yes.
With the
Sandra Bullock.
That one.
Sandra Bullock. I think you're talking about
to be honest, I don't know. It's called Network. I mean, I've only actually
seen that one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
a couple of clips, and it's talking about that. And there's a specific speech that the guy does when he brings in the main. So a rough breakdown of the film is essentially there's a news anchor who has a breakdown on television and starts telling all the global secrets essentially, and as a consequence of that, the ratings go through the roof. And then the CEO of the network brings a guy in, and he says to them, it's almost direct quote essentially. It was like, we no longer live in a nation of a world of nations and ideologies. It says the world is a college of corporations inexorably determined by the immutable bylaws of business. He's like the world as a business, and that was in the 70s. That was in the 70s. So this is like ultra hyper advanced compared to that. This is like and these like the internet, Google. That would just seem like the perfect utility for them to orchestrate control from that stage to the next. Using the technology to continue on with their ideology in that context.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Everybody needs to watch that movie. All right, Network. It's from the 70s, isn't it? Yeah, everybody knows it. It's when the news anchor goes crazy and he's like, "I'm not gonna put up with it anymore. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take it anymore." That's the one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
he puts a lot more passion into it than I do right now, because I'm sure he wasn't high as fuck when he's that angry. But yeah, good film. And these kind of not just movies, but books as well. Like 1984. The Animal Farm, Brave New World, these kind of dystopian topics, I like that kind of shit. It's interesting. But yeah, maybe it's not good for us to read that stuff though. Give us a bleak view of the future.
Or an accurate one.
You never know. Sometimes it can feel that way. But yeah, good shit, man. Definitely watch Network, everybody, if you haven't seen it. I think I might even rewatch it because it's been a while. Right. Did we spin? We didn't spin. Yeah, we read a few things in the chat and then we didn't spin. So we'll spin now, everybody. Let's do it. Let me put it on the screen. This button. There. Okay, we've got JFK, 9/11, the moon landings, COVID, Alexandria Library, Mother Teresa, shenanigans, and flat Earth. I think if we hit shenanigans, we'll just spin again because we've got no fucking idea what that is. Let's do it. Oh no, here come the flags, everybody. COVID.
Oh shit, no. Gotta load the
Shut
bomb
down
up.
immediately.
Zero views, no likes. The fucking thing.
That's it.
Right, and before we begin talking about COVID, we'll just make everybody clear that we have been smoking cannabis. We do not know what we are talking about whatsoever.
We're not paid to do this. No, we're just a bunch of people sitting around. Yeah,
exactly. We're just here to chat shit. That's all, and we absolutely know fuck all about what we're about to talk about. So just bear that in mind when we say anything. None of it's true. All right. But damn, that was fuckery, wasn't it? Yeah, I mean, it's looking back at it, I mean, I can see in the first place why everybody got so panicked, right? Because if it was worse, if it was if it was an actual pandemic, people died and shit, right? But if it was something that's gonna kill off 40 to 60% of the people who catch it, then we would have been happy about the way that we reacted and locked everything down. And we got lucky that it wasn't as deadly as what it could have been. That's the way I see it. But once we started to figure out that it wasn't as deadly as people were expecting it to be, we should have stopped lockdown sooner and all that shit. And there's just been so much propaganda because of it. So much propaganda. And that's all it is, man. It's propaganda. It was so bad. That's my opinion anyway. Does anybody else want to jump in at the deep end?
I'll go first, man. Fuck. Yeah, so again, these are all personal opinions. COVID is the biggest example of the New World Order in action, in my opinion. It's 100% their fucking masterwork to date, I think, that they were able to initiate such a fucking global control. The only time that the entire world has been united and had to be stuck in the fucking house for something that killed it was a small fraction of what they echoed. And statistically, when they look over the actual numbers, the individuals that die annually from the flu and the cold were the same. So there wasn't any a giant increase on top of the annual fucking deaths. It was just a standard, statistic that's present almost every year. And the fact is that you've then got fucking politicians and shit like that are very obviously not taking the fucking injections and having parties and shit like that. And we're still to this day, this is UK politics talking about, you know, still to this day, we're still looking for like an apology and shit like that, you know. Yeah, that's my thing. It's New World Order in action. And I think it was unfortunately potentially something to test what's possible in the future. Unfortunately, like when people say, because again, I mean, I had the what was also on a like an interpersonal fucking experience. What I noticed as well is individuals who've spent their entire life. I mean, I'm talking about guys in their 50s and 60s who are anti-government, anti-fucking, you know, would be regarded as a conspiracy theories. Were like standing there fucking first in line for their 9th booster. You know, and it's like, what happened, man? What happened to your stunt? Like, it's because fear. That's the whole thing. Like, fear, biggest fucking propaganda campaign ever. The world is united by a media fucking franchise, you know, and it is interlocked regardless if we think it's fucking like Al Jazeera or RT or blah, blah. It's all an interlocked media network that we ingest daily. And that's where it's like fucking hell, man. I think it's their biggest achievement to date, you know, in my opinion.
And a lot of people feel the same way, man. It was a fucking different event, wasn't it? Damn.
It
What
says
do you
here in the
think,
comments.
Bryan?
Sorry,
what
just
you're
to
saying?
interrupt me. Sorry to interrupt me. It says, was it Giant Grasses Event 201? Did any of you know what that is?
No.
That must be maybe what they wrote it down of what they were going to call it or something. I don't know. That sounds relevant.
Because there's Event 2030, right? There's no, that's Agenda 2030 when they're trying to reduce the population in a nice way, allegedly. But what do you think about the whole COVID thing, Bryan? What was your score? What was your take on this?
Well, I would say that there's been a few patriots, at least in my opinion, that we've seen throughout probably the last maybe decade or a little bit more. Julian Assange. Oh goodness. Who's the other gentleman that escaped to China?
Edward Snowden.
And then, in my opinion, Rand Paul for sticking up to Fauci in the government, asking certain questions like, well, isn't it true that you get a percentage of the sales of these vaccines? And by law, Fauci didn't have to disclose that. And so from there, it's like, all right, here we go again. You know, they got a mouthpiece out here that's saying one thing. And then I think it was Joe Rogan again, who somebody put together where they're showing, you know, sponsored by Pfizer, sponsored by Pfizer, sponsored by Pfizer, sponsored by Pfizer. And when you start to see that in real time, I feel like you realize, like, when Rand Paul's asking him this kind of stuff, it's almost like no one else is paying attention to this except the conspiracy type people. And he was asking him in Congress, and nobody was holding his feet to the fire. And so if it comes out that these rushed vaccines cause a lot of like blood clotting and some of the things that people are claiming, a variety of different things, people are dropping dead, pretty young, by the way, then yeah, where does that go? And I think it was pretty telling to me too when Joe Rogan was able to heal himself by, I guess, talking to some of these other doctors. All right, let me back up for a second too. All right, when COVID came out, right, there's all these people saying certain things. And so when Joe Rogan came out, he was having some of the top, I mean, literally the top medical MD, medical doctors saying other things about, well, the immune system is there. There's herd immunity, all these different things that you really didn't hear anything on regular media. And then when that happened, CNN, which is owned by Ted Turner, made him look green after this happened.
So
like when he got
fucked,
that,
man.
And so that's why I wanted to back up there, because it's in real time, where I think people might miss it because they have so much shit going on in their life. But in real time, you have basically psyops on human beings.
That's just blatant propaganda. They've altered the footage to suit their agenda.
They made him look like Shrek.
Yeah.
It was so weird.
It's crazy shit, man. Maybe they just did that to like prevent copyright infringement. Like, no, look, it's not the same. He's green in this one. But fuckery, man. Fuckery, yeah.
And I don't know if you guys noticed, but at least in America, it started to really become like the vaccinated versus the unvaccinated. And a lot of the corporate, a lot of the corporate type places, even like sports teams and all this stuff, it was like people had their own version of the scarlet letter. And so if you were unvaccinated, you had to wear a mask at all times. You had to be with people that also were vaccinated, you had to eat with those people, you would eat at a different time. It was like all this like creepy shit that used to come up that we as a civilized society, I thought that was, you know, people wouldn't put up with that anymore. But the littlest thing happened and you saw people giving up those rights almost immediately, you know, where it was basically like, all right, I'll get the vaccine. I just don't want to lose my job at Pfizer or, you know, some of these even
nurses.
the
People have
real
been
type
nurses for
corporate
25
places.
years. You know,
Any government job, all those, like if you weren't an entrepreneur or something, maybe even young enough, like student, most people had to get that vaccine. And I would say most people did it because they were afraid that they were going to lose their job, whether it was direct or indirect.
But like we say, we're all crazy conspiracy theorists. We just, nobody knows what we're talking about here. All right.
Yeah, if you're listening to stoners talk about this, then
exactly,
yeah,
you know, don't get your fucking information from us. Jeez.
Thing is, one of the things, because the event 201 is actually, it was a simulation from 2000. It was 2 months before, I think it was October 2019, and it was a simulation that would essentially run, created by a collection of like industry leaders, military leaders in science, engineering, that kind of shit. And I'm pretty certain Bill Gates was part of it. And that was to essentially simulate a global virus that started in bats in Brazil. That's what it was. And that was in October, like I think September, October of 2019, and then it was 2 or 3 months later it arrived in China. So I mean, this is, you can find this shit, you know. So that's something to think about. That's an actual real simulation. It was 2 months and it was the exact same format that happened. Peculiar.
Crazy J in the chat says, I got the jab because I thought it was a normal vac like the ones they taught us about at school, and I needed to keep my job. You had to do what you had to do, man. But you know, it's been okay for most people. I think it's not like it's, you know, you see a lot of these videos on YouTube. Don't know if it's scaremongering, because you don't know if that's propaganda too. It's so difficult to just believe anything you see nowadays on either side. You know, on the for or against. It's, you know, I just know that it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me, so I didn't do it. Yeah, it's just crazy times, man. The world went fucking mad for a couple of years there. And it can happen again.
I mean, the thing, I think one of the, well, that's it, and that's the thing. That's one of the fear elements. Is one of the main things was the culture of intimidation from your neighbours. Essentially, it was that thing where it's like, and I think that's where the ridiculousness of it came in, because they started going, "You're a threat to me because you've not had a jag, which means my fourth booster won't work." You know, it's that kind of shit. You're like, how the fuck? And it's, you can't really argue with that kind of. There's no logic. They can't do anything with that. There's no opposition. Like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to threaten you that you've got all this shit. I don't know. It's just, it's fucking insane.
What do you think, Monkey? Do you want to add anything to all this?
Oh, the biggest thing I saw with COVID was, at least in the States, we were actually getting conflicting information from government officials. You know, part of the government was saying, go get it vaccinated, and other parts of the government are saying, it's not safe. Don't do it. Don't do it. And yeah, there was a huge population gap. You know, people, it did turn neighbor against neighbor in a lot of cases like that. But I don't know if there was a really good answer, because we were all reacting on just basically what information we were given at the time. Not good stuff. The biggest effect I thought was really neat about the whole COVID thing was, you know, we for about almost a year, we learned how to work differently. That means you have to work from home, you have to work remotely, you got to do what you got to do. And I think in a lot of cases, a lot of office workers figured out that they can do everything that they can do at the office. They can do it remotely at home, and it costs them less to do it. They don't have, you know, it's cheaper for them as far as not driving. It's better for the environment that way. A lot of different things like that. And for a while after the restrictions ended, people were allowed to continue to work home. But you had these gigantic office buildings sitting there empty and nobody paying rent, nobody wanting them. So I think that there was a bit of a conspiracy to get people back in these office buildings, because who's going to pay the rent? What are we going to do with these damn buildings now? We don't really need them anymore. So that was one of the biggest effects that I saw there. But, you know, and then you hear a lot of anti-vaxxers complaining about this new vaccine that was, you know, genetically created and all that. And that was really only like 2 of the 3. the Johnson and Johnson's vaccine was the old school type with, a weakened type of strain that was in there, and it wasn't a genetically modified thing. So it depends upon what you got as to what you had. But I'm not really aware of any like statistically significant factors involved in people who got the vaccine and died because of the vaccine. I mean, I've heard one or two that this might have happened or it could have contributed, but I haven't seen any, causation versus correlation situation here. Show me ironclad that this did it. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I did take the vaccine. I have been boosted twice since then. Not my fourth booster, just my twice. But I usually do like to go ahead and take a booster before I get on an international airplane flight or something like that, because I have found that compared to people who aren't vaxxed, if and when I do get COVID, and I have had it twice, my cases seem to be less severe than people who haven't been vaxxed. So while I don't think it's an answer or a solution, I just think that for a convenience point of view, for me, if I'm only sick for 3 days versus a week and a half, 2 weeks, that's better for me. So yeah, it's a lot to unpack there. My biggest question: who thinks this was like an engineered virus released, or was this?
Oh, that's without a doubt. That's without a doubt now, right? That's confirmed. It came from the lab in Wuhan, China. 100%.
Well, I've heard it say that they think it did, and they've checked it, but I've never actually seen somebody actually taking credit for it or saying, yeah, this is absolutely what happened. I've heard we think now to a higher probability kind of thing like that. But, I think China's not going to admit it. There's no way.
Of course not. No. Look at the huge impact it had across the world.
Financial impact is huge.
Yeah, massive. And like the mental health impact it's had, the education of all the children. They say like millions of years of education got lost over all of the children who spent, collectively, like a stupid amount of lives lost and things now I've heard elementary school teachers saying that the children, the early education children that were on remote learning for a year or two, when they went back to classroom, they were pretty much void of social skills. They didn't understand how to act in crowds anymore. So I can see where that could definitely take an impact on the public right there. It was hard on kids. It was really hard on them. Yeah. Crazy times, man. And it's hard to even think that shit actually happened. And I often think about it and like, did it really fucking happen? Did they really make us stand 6 feet away from each other to try and prevent this shit? Do you remember queuing up outside this shop?
And if somebody who stood 3 feet away from you got in their face and said, "Hey, man, back up." That's the way it was.
Crazy times, man. Just everybody, don't let them ever do that to us again. All right. I think everybody's a little bit more wise to it now as well, because after the case, we've seen that the whole 6 foot thing was just made up out of nowhere. We're just like, oh yeah, let's just do this. This should prevent the spread, and they just came up with all this shit which wasn't scientifically backed by anything. It was just some kind of speculation. This might work, and just started throwing shit out there and just fucked everything.
Well, if you put people 6 feet apart, you have less people in the room. So I guess statistically saying, you have a lower probability of having an infected person in that room. So I guess, you can look at it a lot of different ways if you want to get a conspiracy here. So you really can look at it.
It's interesting that, because the whole COVID thing reminds me of, it makes me picture that it's not even a theory, but it's my own fucking thing, but that whole nature that we're just batteries, they want us in the house. This is progressive stages to like make us more and more accustomed to just be in the house, like consume energy, release energies, all that kind of shit, and it's just that kind of stuff. And the 15-minute city, and on-demand viewing, getting your fucking shopping dropped right to the house. It's a fine line, quite honestly, because the vast majority, if not all of these technologies that are now in our life, they've been built through the nature of comfort, and I think it's like, are we enslaving ourselves unintentionally, and we've just got like fucking, terrible bosses at the top of the tree? Is that what's going on here? Or is it like, I don't know, I've got a tendency towards magic and spirituality. I don't know.
No, man, it's a tough one. And I think everybody's so different, man. And some people would think that. I don't believe in the whole magic thing, as I said. Fuck. It was just crazy times, man. And I hope we don't have to fucking do it again. But I don't know. When you look at some of these conspiracy theories and they say, yeah, they're going to have another one coming soon. He's like, no, we're not. Please don't. No, come on. No. Oh. Sorry, Connor, you were saying something there.
No, I was just to say it's like kind of two things really. It was one of the things where it's like when you mentioned before that like at least we're a bit wise to it now. I genuinely believe we're fucking powerless regardless. That could have been even a social experiment. And just touching on like the magic thing and all that kind of stuff. Hypothetically speaking, the occultists are at the top of the tree that have instigated these global events. If they're like vampires of negative energy, that would have been their fucking orgy. You know what I mean? Like that entire period of time of everybody miserable in the house, and like obviously I'm aware there are days of hey, this is shit hot, but collectively as on a global scale, that would have been hitting the negative misery side than the euphoria side. You know, so if you're talking energies and all that kind of stuff, which this is just fun by the way. I'm not sitting here like this is just fun. Like this is like thought techniques and shit like that. It's fun. But if you're thinking in that way, then fucking hell, man, COVID was like vampire fucking buffet. You know.
Damn.
COVID was a great time to start your home grow, man. That's what it really was.
Oh yeah,
you know?
that's a good thing. Lots of people started growing, and lots of podcasts began because of COVID. So some good came from it as well. It wasn't all completely bad. So, but still, we don't want it again, do we?
No, fuck that.
No,
Yeah,
no.
God damn, no, fuck that, no, God damn, wearing all these masks. Oh God, no, let's not do it again. Should we spin the wheel? I mean, we could go so much. It's like COVID needs a whole episode on its own, man. There's so much to go into.
I was going to say there, just to conclude then with COVID, I was talking about this at work just a couple of days ago. The best thing that came out of COVID was it showed how innovative humans are. Like, how many people do you know that wrote a book, that wrote, like, developed good in it, like on an instrument or a new language? Everybody did something. You know, the vast majority of people did something. And it just shows you that humans, when you get given your own time, when you remove the need for having to go out and work and collect finances and all that kind of shit, when you're given your own time, the vast majority of humans tend to be innovative, opposed to, like apathetic, which is quite cool to see.
Yeah, gave everybody a lot more time to be creative.
Yeah.
So, would you want it to happen again? Maybe we do. Maybe we could just do it like just a couple of weeks, like 2 weeks to flatten the curve. 2 weeks.
No,
2 weeks.
Interestingly, 2 weeks. Yeah, well done. Nice one. No, interestingly, I wouldn't want it to happen again, but the thing that pops to mind is that they did this social experiment in Sweden, and what they did was they gave like a small number of, I think it was a town or something like that. I'm totally butchering it, but you'll get the gist. There was a small number of people in Sweden that got given an annual salary at the beginning of the year. They got all their money, and they didn't have to go out and work, and it was just like a social experiment, as I said, to see what they would do. And what they found was there was a huge portion of that number of people who became innovators and who became like entrepreneurs and invested their time and their money into things that are like self-sustainable, opposed to what the vast majority of people believe happened, where you give people lots of money, everybody's got a gambling addiction, everybody's an alcoholic. Like that's not what happened, in this thing. So that's what pops to mind. If we removed the structure in society which has this requirement to, if there was
it's definitely something that needs to be considered now more than ever, man. Universal basic income. Because with the rise of AI, if anybody hasn't seen Sora yet, SORA, and compared that to the video of Will Smith eating spaghetti made by AI, you can find all this on YouTube. The difference is incredible, and it's just been a year. And then we have ChatGPT, which is just one of many of these artificial intelligence softwares we have now. And you don't need writers anymore. You can look up all of the court cases in history, so you don't necessarily need a lawyer anymore. It can be done just by ChatGPT. It's incredible the amount of things that AI can already do, and I think over the next 5 years it's going to take so many fucking jobs. Editing is no longer going to have to be a thing. When they need scenes for certain movies, they can just ask Sora, for example, but there's going to be more of those, to just make a scene. Can you make a dog running across a hill with a silhouette for the movie clip? Make it 10 seconds long. Like the missus is sneaking in to steal a joint. You ruined my flow now. Jesus. But
thing is, with that in mind, though, Macky, then, like, what's next then? Humans have now got ourselves to that stage of comfort in that position where everything's taken care of. What's the next action for society? Like, what do you think's next for humans then?
It would be good to see what we can create. like you say, during COVID, when everybody had the ability to dedicate time to their own personal growth rather than the growth of somebody's company, then they were able to do amazing things. You're creating music, podcasts, writing books, writing scripts for movies. People became more creative and started doing new things because their mind was allowed to expand and not worry about having to get to work all the time and spending so much time doing that. You know, they was able to pursue something that they've always wanted to do, and that would make people happy at the same time. The problem is when that happens, when you start giving money away for free, like a universal basic income, then it starts to lose the value of the money because people don't earn it. It becomes kind of free, you know, so you don't care about it so much. So then the prices of things will rise, and that will go round, and inevitably will it make the currencies collapse. It's fucking tough to figure it all out. You have to be super smart, and you know what is super smart? AI. A few more years time, we can just put them in charge and be like, you figure it out, we'll just do whatever you tell us to do. And I would trust that far more than any of these corrupt, crazy motherfuckers that run any of these governments across the world. All of the governments, there's not one person which you can look at and be like, yeah, okay, that guy, I want that guy to run my country. They're all fucked in some way. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's my opinion of it. Anyway, I was gone on a bit of a tangent there because I'm stoned because I hit that spliff a few too many times. But yeah, things are crazy, man. Things are crazy. What does everybody in the chat think? What was he even talking about? Can you remember? Yeah, yeah. Should we spin that wheel again? Let's give the wheel a spin. All my banks turned to miss. Yeah, cannabis would be legal. Yeah, fucking hell. It's a sad thing. The Argentinian man, yeah, he seems pretty cool. And that guy going against what's his name? Trudeau in Canada. What's the guy? Pierre? Isn't that guy the opposition in Canada? He seems no bullshit with that guy, I think. But I don't know what his policies are or anything, so I can't really say whether I prefer him.
Wait a minute. You're saying as a politician it has no bullshit? No. I'll call bullshit on that.
Oh yeah, he's real. The way he talks to the media, he just don't take any shit from them. They were saying some people say that you're right wing. He's like, yeah, who said that? Show me where you claimed that. Show me where it's been seen. And he holds their feet to the fucking fire. I can't remember the guy's name though. Pierre Dufont or something like that. I don't know. Fuck knows. That's gonna be my guess. Just random syllables pulled out of my brain there. But yeah, that goes interesting. But we should spin this wheel and see what else we're. Pierre Poliva or something. Yeah, you know the guy I mean, Gunnar. Yeah, he seems like no fucking around. But who knows, eh? Right,
I don't know. I don't know who the guy is. Like, I'm shite with politics. All I can think is if you know his name, he's probably an asshole.
Mm.
You know, it's that thing of like politicians, the ones that's popular. These guys have been fucking tailored and manipulated and molded for decades before they even get to be on screen. You know, if it's a politician, they're lying. You know, which is so nihilistic when I think about. You know, there's that thing, and there was an advert in the UK. Where it was somebody saying, "Oh, it's 12 o'clock. I have to time to close the pub." And there's somebody that moans in the pub, and he's like, "Oh, what? I'm not fucking stay here another hour." And he's like, "Oh no, you didn't. You're not active in politics, so you have no opinion." And there's an element there, you know, that you've got to be pragmatic with politics in order to create change. But if the system's fundamentally rigged to favour individuals that don't have your best interests at heart, then it's understandable to be like nihilistic towards this shit.
Oh yeah, for sure. You can see why people's lost their faith in politics, man. It's fucked. Here in the UK, we've had conservative government for 14 years, and they've just ran us into the ground. And, it's like for the last 3 elections, I'm like, surely they're not going to vote conservative again. And it happened. You're like, oh, okay, maybe I'm wrong, right? And then 4 years later, 4 or 5 years, whenever it is, you're like, okay, now. I mean, they've ruined the NHS. They've fucking ruined public schools. They've ruined the economy. What else can they do? I mean, surely they're going to vote for somebody else. But the problem is, and of course, spoiler alert, everybody, they voted for fucking Tory again. And you're like, wow. But then you look at the opposition. And you look at the Labour Party, and that's fucked as well. And I think that's part of the system, is that they give you just 2 options that just really are shit, or the same piece of shit. You're just a different color, you know. You're just red tie, blue tie. It's fucking
You end up doing the same thing we do, voting for the lesser of two evils.
yeah. And they're all
Yeah, wasn't it
fucking.
the-
They're part of the same team, aren't they?
Yeah, essentially. I mean, what was it say? This is like you get to elect the people in charge, but you don't get to select them. You know, I'm fucking butchering select, but you get the gist. And that's essentially it. And I think sometimes when I look at it, I don't know if it's just sometimes I think I'm thick as fuck when I say some of this shit. Sometimes I think I'm so stupid to think this, man, right? But it's like sometimes there's like I think there's like like it's like that whole thing I was saying before in the last chat that we had, where it's like there's like a global initiative for these people that are, again, all of these more personal opinions, global initiative on and then there's regional expectations for that initiative, and essentially individuals that could put through like fucking like whether it's conservative or Labour and that kind of thing. It's just to kind of to appease the times of the cultural demand, and it's just to make sure that their fucking plans stay on track. We're churning along because it's not going to be that the UK is out of sync with fucking America or other regions around the world. You know, it's just I don't know, man. There just seems to be there's more of a coordinated political sphere globally than I think that we actually get led to believe, because we're so locally orientated. You know, we're so focused on ourselves and local politics. I think maybe potentially, if we're just attached slightly, we'd see that there's actually a global initiative which is present potentially. But again, I'll refer you back to me. I'm thick as fuck, you know.
Yeah, but there's so many different ways to look at it, isn't it? I
Yeah,
wouldn't say thick as fuck or anything like that, man. It's just this is just your perspective of it.
No, it's just I know
Yeah.
it makes me laugh, man, when I think about it. It's like, this is ridiculous. Fucking hell.
Yeah, what are you saying, Brian? You've been quiet there in the background. You all good?
Oh yeah, I was just listening to you guys, especially talking about more of this kind of stuff. Here to learn and also kind of going to contribute when I feel like I know somewhat of, I guess, what I'm talking about.
So let's do a spin. We can. Brian will be the first to speak on it. So good luck, Brian. I hope it's nothing controversial again. Oh god, we got that fucking flat Earth one. Let's see if we can use the Force and move it onto flat Earth. Everybody, let's do it. You ready? Ready? 3, 2, 1. Spin in. What we got? What we got? Come on, hit us with the JFK. Oh, it's gonna be 9/11. Damn, we're hitting another big one here.
Another flag coming. Yeah.
Another flag coming, everybody. Another YouTube flag. 9/11 is did we speak about this one briefly last time?
Yeah, I'm sure we did.
Yeah,
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So we covered most of it then. But yeah, I think it's an interesting
We're talking
one
about
for sure.
building number 7 mostly.
Mm,
Because that's the part I feel like where most people, you know, because it happened on American soil, killed Americans, it's people feel very strongly about when you say stuff like that. But building 7 is very hard when you even listen to the Architects for America. There's all these like little like groups that were just trying to say like, hey, we know enough about this to say that building 7 shouldn't have collapsed like that. And the other two, they also claim the other two, but other people could argue that planes made it fall down. So for 7 to crumble, that was the part that always made me think that something was up.
Yeah, it's a fucking dodgy one, isn't it? Because it's not as if skyscrapers don't burn. But they say they had oil tanks underneath Building 7, which set alight and then caused it to burn for long. But still, I'm like, yeah, man. Because I've researched this so fucking much, man. And I've swayed side to side, inside job, not inside job. You know, I'm still kind of in the middle. Because I think most of all, I just hope that it wasn't an inside job. I hope the government wasn't involved. Because then that just means something completely fucking different. As a next level of fuckery. You know, but when you see Building 7 come down the way it did, it makes no fucking sense. It makes no sense. I don't know. I don't get it. What do you think, Macky? What do you think about Building 7 specifically?
I didn't study Building 7 enough to actually get into it.
Right,
I mean,
right.
the whole thing was in such disrepair at the time that I just understood it that they felt like in order to get rid of or service the entire area, which was complete in utter destruction, they were trying to get rid of a damaged building that could create havoc later on. I never thought much about it, to be honest with you. So.
And I've seen people say that as well. When the video people see, and I don't know, people who've seen the video, they'll know what I'm talking about, where the building crimps in the middle and then collapses. Looks like it's collapsing in its footprint, but that's actually not the case. The building was badly damaged on the other side, and we just don't get to see that side very much. But I think you can find pictures and videos of it that do show the building badly damaged. Yeah, fuck knows. Who knows, eh? Who knows? If you want to know more about the 9/11 one, I think you just go check out the last episode we did on the stream a few months ago. You'll find it there. But it's an interesting one. Right, let's do another spin. I want to try and get to this JFK one. Use the force every. But I said, what was it? Flat Earth or JFK? Or the moon landings. That's it. They're all good ones, right? They're all good ones. Let's do it. Are you ready? Anybody got any preferences here?
Nope. Let it roll.
Let's do it then. It's spinning.
Let's do shenanigans.
Yeah, whatever that is. Oh yeah,
whatever.
Loki's used the force. It's got it in.
See, it worked. Shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
Dealer's choice, I
Nice.
guess.
Yes, but yeah,
Shenanigans.
dealer's choice, man. What's the whole shenanigans thing about?
I have no
Fuckery
idea.
in general, you know. I don't even know what this started from. We should have went back and listened to the initial stream and figured out what the whole shenanigans thing was. Well, maybe it's just like the corruption around everything, man. It's fucking everywhere. Corruption is just everywhere. It feels that way anyway. Do you all get that? Does anybody have any faith in the government? What are you saying, Connor? Do you have faith in your government?
I don't know, man. I'm constantly in conflict. I'm aware that like local legislation that gets put through and laws and small little societal change, you know, these are real. You've got people like I know people that work in government, you know, that's not the faces that I see when I'm talking about like global manipulation. These are less than pawns, that kind of shit. So I'm aware that local change can happen. But apart from that, I don't know, COVID and it just destroyed any faith that I had. It just seemed so obvious. I mean, I did that it was it's so obvious, I say it, and at the very minimum, they weren't being truthful. Like, I think that's the best thing that could be said. They're not being truthful what's going on. They were inconsistent. I'm aware, obviously, it's a new event, all that kind of shit, but I don't know. Short answer, no, quite honestly. There's nobody that, like, they're trained in doublespeak.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're trained to avoid answering
Yeah.
directly. I think that's enough, actually. I'll just settle with that. They're trained to
Yeah.
not be direct, you know?
Yeah, that's it. And they're famous for it. It's like the way a politician would answer a question is to not actually answer it, but fucking wander off on something else. Like, no.
Yeah.
And journalists they should push them further, man. Be like, hold on, I didn't fucking ask you that. Go back, answer this. And some journalists do it. But damn, what do you think? I mean, Bryan and Monkey, you both from the USA. Bryan, do you want to go first? Do you have faith in your government? Do you think that they're doing the right thing for you?
I would say at the local level, I have faith in my government. It does
Right,
seem like there's enough people paying attention that when someone does fuck up pretty royally, they're out. And then when it comes to state government, I would say it's a little bit less. It does seem like, you know, governors are more bought and paid for, or at least becoming and, you know, being groomed, if you will, I guess, to start to become corrupt. And then at the national level, I think it was Connor that had mentioned, like, if you know their name, more than likely they've already been bought and paid for. And that's why the media talks about those individuals.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side of that, when you know their name, sometimes I think it's because the elite are so against them that they basically make them try to be like crazy, or they do try to get them with some kind of sexual scam.
You have to step out of line, you have to speak out against the narrative. Yeah, man. What are you saying, Monkey? Do you have faith in your government?
Depends upon what you call faith, I guess, you know.
The same thing, kind of local level.
Sort of, kind of on the local level. I would think mostly the government is going to take care of me and do what it can for me. And mostly I would say that is true. As you start going up the ladder from local to state and then to the federal, I think, you know, the connection becomes less and less. And I'm total with the federal government situation right now. I mean, the deadlock that we're in and the constant infighting in the government gets me completely frustrated. Yeah, there's fuckery in the federal level of the government. It's just ridiculous the amount of money that they're wasting up there, fighting over shit that they can fix. You know, one of that kind of thing like that. So yeah, I think a lot of the politicians at a federal level are more into it for themselves than they are into it to do the job for the people. I mean, that's just, that's pretty obvious. Kind of like Bryan said, if you know their name, yeah, they're already into the scandals and they're already into the money probably. But overall, no, I don't have a lot of confidence in my government, because I feel like that if I need something done, I actually have to work hard to get the government to listen to me these days. So no confidence in that respect of it, but I don't feel like nobody's going to kick down my door today and I'll be arrested and thrown in jail for no reason. So confidence there. So
yeah.
mixed bag.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we have it good compared to some countries, for sure.
Oh yeah.
But that it's just not having faith in them to think that. I think all of us feel the same way, that they're in it for themselves. They're not in it to try and better the lives of the population of the country. They're there to try and make as much money as possible and better their lives, and maybe try and help in some way. But I think their first priority is themselves, and everything else comes second. That's the way it seems. Unfortunately, I would like to see it a different way. But, you know. How do you go about restructuring a government? Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, some of these how can I say, high profile politicians that come in for the first term and create all kind of ruckus and make all this noise. You know, they come in not millionaires, and by the end of the first couple of years, they're multimillionaires. And how the hell did that happen?
And
on
not
a
just
job that
fucking-
the job doesn't pay that much. You know, what the hell?
Well, they said Nancy Pelosi made 10 times her annual salary in the first 10 months of this year, or last year, obviously. Just a ridiculous amount of money. And it's insider trading. There's no doubt about it. That's what she's doing, and she isn't being held liable for it. If any of us did what she was doing, we'd be in prison for a long time. But she gets
not
away with
illegal for them, Macky. That's the thing. You know, it should be illegal for them, but it's not.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, that's just one example, and there's so many of them involved in that.
It's fucking, and not just USA, it's UK as well.
It's how did you put it? Rules for thee, not for me, right?
Exactly. It's fucked, man. Our prime minister hasn't even been elected, and he's like a billionaire. His wife's dad is like the richest man, one of the richest people in India or something. Crazy. You're not thinking that he's got like just no way in any way can he relate to the ordinary people of the UK. He relates to the 1%. Even higher than the 1%. We need somebody who relates to the ordinary people, but they will never allow that to happen because they own the media and they tell us who we should and shouldn't like. Crazy shit. Maybe that's what the shenanigans was, just the media in general, the way they spin narratives and make you think the way they want you to think. Interesting shit. Yeah, so shenanigans, that will do for shenanigans, I think. Let's do another spin. I'm trying to get to that JFK or something, you know? These big conspiracy theories, I love them, man.
Yeah, like that. Macky's watched a fucking JFK documentary in 90 minutes.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I'm reading the book, you know? We have Mother Teresa. And this is going to be a controversial one. A lot of people think that Mother Teresa was a very nice person. But in fact, she wasn't. She was horribly racist. Just so you know, right? And this is all documented. It's not just slander. Don't sue me. And she made a lot of dodgy money. She was like, human trafficking, man. I mean, Bryan, you know more about this, right? You were into the Mother Teresa conspiracy. I know a little bit from the Hitchens shit. The shit that Hitchens covered.
Yeah, I really went down the rabbit hole actually after I learned more from Hitchens, and the fact that she was with Ghislaine Maxwell's father a lot of the time is also super creepy. So all of that child trafficking and stuff that's come from Epstein is connected to Ghislaine Maxwell, and Maxwell's father was connected to Mother Teresa. They would go around the world and try to drum up all this money. And no one really actually knew exactly where it went because her care service was basically for the people to suffer. And that was her view of, I guess, being obedient to God's commands, is that these children would suffer. And so they would lay on basically like I guess the easiest example for an American would be like a beach towel. And so the sickest would get a cot, but most of them laid on like these beach towels. They were fed basically like gruel, and meant to suffer. And so later in life, when Mother Teresa started to fall ill from health and old age, best believe she flew to the Western world and got the best of the best doctors to take care of her. So there's a lot of hypocrisy. I think potentially Mr. Hitchens exposed that she was into child trafficking, which is one of the most disgusting things that I think you could do to another human being.
Mm-hmm. Hitchens was a legend, man, because it was very controversial when he covered that, because she was like the heights of her fame then, and everybody thought she was going to be anointed as a saint and shit like that. Yeah, but some dodgy shit was going on. Do you know anything about this, Connor? You know anything about the Mother Teresa stuff?
I know absolutely nothing, less than nothing. Like this is as far as I'm aware, she was like fucking Mother Teresa, shining beacon of integrity and value and honesty and all that shit. But 100%, like as Brian's saying, she's hanging about with Ghislaine Maxwell's dad. Like this is just another cog in the fucking network of this shit, you know. And I think excluding some very obvious civil servants that were actually serving a purpose for social change, it seems to also apparent that the vast majority of these people, if they're popularized, they're probably popularized for the wrong reasons.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I know nothing about the Mother Teresa, but I'm extremely interested.
Yeah, it's crazy how it's all intermingled like that. There's just like a web of all these fucking crooked ass motherfuckers, man. Do you think like this is a simulation and we're just like the free players and all them guys are paid to play? You know what I mean? They're on a different fucking. They're behind the paywall and just do all this fuckery because they can. You know.
What does seem apparent is the consistent theme for Mother Teresa and these fucking snake politicians is power. You know, she clearly had power. I doubt that. I'd be surprised. I mean, again, I know nothing about her story, but I'd be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if she was somebody that was in a position where, like, aesthetically, she was a nun doing that kind of shit. And then they were just, you know, I don't know, fuck knows, man. But maybe she was just popular, and then she was also fine with being popular for the wrong reasons. You know.
Yeah. Do you know anything about this one, Monkey?
Very little, like you said.
Yeah, same. I don't know much.
I would definitely have to look into this one, though. But I mean, we were always taught, you know, through the church and stuff, that Mother Teresa was the best of the best and all this kind of stuff like that. So that's all I ever heard. I recently do believe I had heard something, and I didn't even pay much attention to it, that she wasn't as good as everyone thought, but I didn't never react to that or any way like that. I'd say if in fact that what Bryan was saying is anywhere near true, I have a new opinion.
Yeah,
you know.
I say a lot of people don't know about it, man. So, and same for me, I don't know much about the Mother Teresa thing. You just know that she's apparently bad. Don't believe what the media tells you, but that's how I roll anyway. But you know, just don't believe anything these fuckers tell you, man. You go and you know, go do your own research. And if any of this does intrigue you, like what? Mother Teresa was a bit of a nasty bitch, was she? Let me go and look into this. Go and look into it. You know, if you're interested in it, go and check it out. But don't believe the shit we say, because as I've mentioned a few times already, none of us have any idea what we're talking about. We are just making noises.
Anyone who had to interact with nuns, really, you know, I remember a few interactions with nuns, and you know, you didn't always think that they were the nicest people in the world. You know, they had a reputation sometimes of being stern or doing whatever.
Yeah. Thing is, I did see the Hitchens like speech about Mother Teresa. I couldn't. I mean, it was a year or so ago, but I remember watching the full thing, and I'll be honest, like it's very difficult to disagree with anything he says, even when you don't agree with him, because he's so articulate and you know he's so well researched. So quite honestly, if Christopher Hitchens is saying it, I would immediately go like, yeah, it fucking happened, man. That guy doesn't. His whole game is about being academically correct, you know.
Yep, legend. And we've brought him up a few times. We brought him up when we was on Bryan's show a few weeks ago. You know, go and check out Christopher Hitchens, everybody. If you don't know who he is, you need to know who he is.
Yeah, and he's not. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you go, Bryan.
Carry on.
I just wanted to add that he's not. I mean, he's not normally like this guy that's just out to like smear supposedly good people. He's actually more well known for just debating and being well known for when he comes to these debates to not only have, you know, everything dialed in, but he's very witty and charming in the way that he does these things. The thing we're talking about was more of like a documentary, and he's done the same thing with the Clintons as well. I mean, there's a lot of research into why those people are unbelievably fucked up. But it was eye-opening to Mother Teresa aspect to it, because he just had so many ways that he connected a lot of things. And this was all well before Epstein's name was known to the public. So now that, and Ghislaine, so if both of them are now household names, I think if he was alive today, he would have a lot to say, like almost like, hi, I told you guys that this kind of stuff is going on. And back to Alex Jones real quick. He was also in the early days talking about an island where supposedly the elites go to fuck children. The problem with Alex Jones is that he follows it up with, and there's a bunch of stuff in the water that turns the frogs gay. And then as soon as he says that, everybody's like, oh man.
And he sounded fucking crazy, but then they did the research and he's fucking 100% correct. That shit is actually going on. There's some plastics that leaches from bottled water into the water, and it turns male frogs hermaphrodite or female frogs to male or some crazy shit. It's like, it is actually proven to be a correct thing. I'm sure somebody in the chat will be like, yeah, this is what happened. But yeah, it's a confirmed thing, man. He was correct about it, as usual. You know. I remember the first time I come across Alex Jones, it was like in the year 2000 or something. It was early 2000s, man. And he was so young then compared to the way he looks now.
Do you guys know who David Icke is?
Oh yeah, fuck. What a nutcase.
You think the stuff that he says is incorrect, or some of his stuff is like, so Alex Jones, like when he said the stuff about Sandy Hook, I mean, that's been proven in court that he didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. So that's the part that always makes me nervous with this stuff is, you know, when people go on the limb, like with David Icke, he's talking about reptilians and stuff, where he's just like, okay, dude.
Yeah. It's like some of the stuff you can agree with, you know, the Illuminati stuff, the New World Order, that kind of stuff that David Icke talks about. But when he gets to the lizard people bit, it's a bit too much. You know, it's like
that's his best shit. I love that shit
because he talks about, and I've seen him explain it like this: if everybody's seen Monsters Inc., where the monsters go through the doors into the children's bedrooms to scare them and store the energy from the scream to power their shit. That's essentially what David Icke is saying is going on with the lizard people. The lizard people can come in and out of these doors interdimensionally to manipulate the way things are happening in the world now. And the Queen was a lizard person. George Bush was a lizard person. All these prominent people of power are all lizard people, and I just think that is absolutely fucking mental. Why do people come up with this shit?
That sounds like Resident Alien, man. That's a sitcom,
you know? Fuck. That's just too much.
Yeah, thing is, that's what makes it so fun. That's what makes it so fun. It's just ridiculous. But the thing is, is the way I understood them, is it not that it's a form of energy? Like, these are interdimensional beings, as far as I'm aware. That so these aren't like some of them aren't visible to the naked eye, and it's all that kind of shit. They're in between frequencies and stuff like that. So is it not supposed to be like that? Like, I don't know if you've ever seen Babylon 5. Like it's an old sci-fi program and for the 90s, and they had these things on it called the shadows. And so there'd be a guy walking, and he would be like a human representative for these shadows, and humans couldn't see them. They couldn't see the shadows next to them, and it wouldn't be till like they'd be specific scanners, and then they would fucking see them and shit like that. So that's how I see David Icke's theory. That he's talking about it in that way, that it's like out with our sensory perception. Like if I was to play sci-fi, you know.
I don't know. The lizard people is a bit much. You know, that's just stretching it a little bit too far, man. I don't know about that. And they have to wear these human-like suits. And sometimes they slip and you see the eyes blink sideways. It's like, come on. You know, I just don't get that. Do you guys know about that lizard theory thing? Monkey, do you know about the lizard people theory thing?
Yeah, man, I seen it on Star Trek.
Oh, cool. So you do know, yeah.
I know about it. No, I do not believe any of it. I think that's it's way that's out there. It's way too far out there.
Yeah. And I think it discredits David Icke for the other things he says that do actually make sense. It's like, because a lot of it does just, it's like, yeah, man, I can agree with that. I can agree with that. But lizards? Nah, no.
Yeah, it's like the
you lost me.
Labours are greys and the Tories are lizards, right?
That's exactly it.
Thing
Yeah.
is, what I'd point out is like I don't like I'm not convicted to any of this. Like I don't like believe it and I don't disbelieve it. I'm in a position where I play like obviously these thought games where it's like what's physically possible, because what I know that's possible is probably way more than we could ever comprehend. So what's fun to walk that way? You know what I mean? It's like what's possible, and they walk about thinking that lizards are hiding behind politicians. No, I think there's a malevolent force, and whether it's lizards or no, fuck knows, man. But there's something that's very visibly malevolent. And above and beyond that, it's just a game, really.
We have a
You
thing
got-
with Bowles there. He said reptilian people are causing global warming because they like the warmth. Yes, 100% agree. What are you saying, Brian?
Well, are you guys familiar with like theology? Maybe I guess this would almost be like a biblical tinfoil hat subject.
All right. Yeah, I'm pretty. Well, I used to be pretty clued up on the main Abrahamic religions, anyway.
Right.
So I used to do this growing up in the South. You get like testified to, and people really get into it and stuff. And so sometimes it's annoying, man, especially because sometimes you feel like people are just saying some shit and they haven't actually read. So what I like to always talk about is something called the Nephilim, which is mentioned in the Bible in Genesis 6:6. And it talks about the fact that for a certain time period, there were these like giant basically giants. That's where kind of like David and Goliath comes from. But Goliath was a Nephilim, and the Nephilim apparently were going through the universe and eventually came across. Some people believe that these are where like the Greek god things come from, Zeus and all of that. But the Nephilim were also known in Zachariah Stitchen's book as the Anunnaki. And so whatever these things were, there are multiple, I guess, civilizations throughout time that have claimed that this shit existed. And what had happened is they basically fornicated with the women of Earth. And it was that basically saying that, like, these women were irresistible to the fallen angels. And so they had fucked up the bloodline of the human race. And so in the human race, that's where the flood of Noah makes sense from this, is because all of the Nephilim DNA blooded human beings had to be destroyed. And so I'm saying all this because if you've ever been to the South, man, sometimes people really hit you with that Southern Baptist kind of stuff. And I would imagine Monkey of anybody would probably understand what I'm talking about.
Oh,
so
I've
when you
heard it.
hit, yeah, but when you hit them with this Nephilim stuff, most of them have never heard that before. And so you're talking scripture to scripture here, but they want to almost like dismiss that. And that's the
Right.
part that I've always found is kind of like, if we're having fun today, the conspiracy aspect of the Bible is that the potential, I'm being kind of crude here for fun's sake, is that the women of Earth are so hot that these Nephilim were flying around, these fallen angels were flying around all over the fucking universe. And then when they found Earth, they came down here and fornicated with our women. So I just wanted to put it out there, man. The women of Earth are, I guess, the hotties of the universe.
Depends where you go, the city I'm in, no, not too nice. Just joking. It's just jokes. But I like the whole.
I think I saw a movie about that, Brian, called what? Earth Girls Are Easy, right?
Yeah. But doesn't that sound sci-fi?
Oh man, you would imagine that as a movie.
Yeah.
That would be a fucking awesome movie. That would. The aliens come down and shit, and the whole flood because of the mixed bloodline. That would be a cool movie to watch. I like that. That's
Thing
cool.
is, what's mental about that? It'd be a cool movie. That's actually part of the culture. Like that's actually like that's central. That's in the fucking Bible as far as what I'm hearing. These are like stories that we've documented throughout history. What the fuck is going on? You know what I mean?
Yeah, the whole flood thing. It's because a lot of cultures have the flood in their religious books as well, don't they? And it could be down to the Younger Dryas impacts, maybe. It's interesting shit, man. I like the Anunnaki thing as well, because Anunnaki is the guys that manipulated, allegedly, well, this is just a part of the story, I think. They manipulated the primate DNA to make us intelligent like we are, so we could mine and harvest as much gold as possible for them, because the gold particles are put into their atmosphere to reduce the impacts of global warming, right?
And that is why, or I guess we're going down that rabbit hole of some people that are talking about this, why human beings in general, or I guess certain human beings in general, crave gold and jewels and bling and all that bullshit, is because that's kind of where the essence of, I guess from an Anunnaki point of view, that's what seemed to us, I guess, mattered, is because we were enslaved to fucking dig it out of the ground. That's why gold and diamonds mean so much, even though there's so many of them. It's actually like rubies and emeralds and things that there's not a lot of, but yet a woman would rather have a diamond over a ruby.
Yes, it's a great story, man. I like that one, but I don't believe it's real. I don't think that's what happened. But damn,
What's quite cool about that whole story, quite honestly, Macky, is that when I talk about the gold, unless I'm fucking butchering this, which is likely, Thoth is either a description of one of the Anunnaki, or like a descendant of, and Thoth is the god, which then turns into Hermes Trismegistus, which then brings forward like alchemy, which is like a central practice that we could use to initiate like further spiritual development, more sustainable lifestyle, and all these different other physical pragmatic things for the human, right? So these are like a utility, essentially, which alchemy is, and that's like along the pipeline of this information that, like, when you follow it that way, it leads to like Hermes and all these gods and shit like that. Much similar story to the Anunnaki looking for gold. The nature of alchemy itself and its essence is transferring poor quality metals into gold, and that those poor quality metals in there's a physical process chemically which you could obviously engage in to make that happen. But there's also a spiritual process where you're the form of the poor quality metal with your poor quality characteristics, and then when you focus on a specific craft and you develop that craft in alignment with the craft getting better, you as a person, your personality fine-tunes itself, because you can't get good at something and be disciplined at something whilst also having poor quality characteristics. And that's the nature, that's where the spiritual, the bridges I was mentioned before, about the spiritual element and the physical element of alchemy, and I think that's what's quite fascinating. It's completely relevant to the conversation, because we're talking about Anunnaki, gold, all that kind of shit, is that's the story of alchemy. And yet alchemy is a very real practical thing that we could use like daily. It's fucking mental.
Oh, yeah. Damn, thanks, bro. You just went up on one a little bit there. Have you been smoking cannabis?
I'm sitting here fucking ripped, man. That's what I mean. I'm gonna get to my bed, man. I've been fucking working all day.
Oh, lame. No, so I'm a little bit toasted here as well. It's very nice, man. Yeah, it's good times. But yeah, gold, it's such a beautiful thing. And why is it? What is that about? But damn, just that shiny yellowness, man. Damn. I like gold, but I like silver more. You know why? Because I can afford silver. I can't afford gold. But if I could afford it, then yeah, gold would definitely be for sure my favorite. I just have blocks of it, but they're expensive, man. Imagine visiting Fort Knox and seeing all of that shit. Damn. Anyway, I'm just going off on tangents now. The thought of gold. Beautiful.
Gold fever, and you haven't even seen it yet. Yeah.
Just the thought of it.
Just the thought of it's giving you gold fever.
So a random tangent. I've seen some TikTok. Well, sort of random tangent. It relates to this. Seems to not TikTok. It was an Instagram reel the other day about people picturing things in their mind, and 20% of people can't picture things in their head. Like when I say picture things, like you can imagine a certain object in your head. If I said to you, imagine a red wax crayon in your head, you should be able to see a red wax crayon in your, you know what I mean? It's there in your head, a picture of it. But 20% of people don't have that ability. They don't see a picture in their head.
That's not. I don't understand. That's totally normal. I understand.
So
that.
you see the crayon. Do you see the crayon, Connor?
Yeah. I have fucking like all the cartoons, man. I'd like
Yeah,
almost
of course,
I can see the writing on it. Tell you how many stripes it's got. Black writing on the paper wrapper. Even I can see it all.
Yeah.
You know.
What you say, Bryan? You can see the thing too, right? You see a crayon in your head.
Absolutely. And I remember my wife showed me like a couple years ago, there was a dress that was like either gold and
Oh,
white or
yes,
blue.
yes,
And that taught me a lot about how human beings kind of see things.
Yeah.
right. It's true.
And there's another one that came out recently. I can't remember what that was. Shit. It was a good one as well because me and my boy looked at it, and I think it might have been it might have been that dress one, but it was a different one. It was like maybe it was a shoe or something rather than the dress. And she was
Yeah.
like, "No, that's white and gold." He's like, "Well, that's black and blue. Look at this. What are you doing?" And me and my boy was saying the same thing. It's just blue. Yeah, but she saw it
I don't know.
differently.
My missus, though, I mean, when we do home projects, she cannot envision, look at a room and say, okay, I want to do this, this, and this. And she, in her mind, she can't make that flip and see it in her mind how it's going to be when it's done. So I can fully understand that there are people in the world that don't have the ability to do that envisioning thing.
Yeah. What about people in the chat there? Does everybody see that red crayon? You know, maybe it's laying on a desk, maybe it's floating in the air, whatever the crayon's doing. Can you picture it in your head as a red crayon?
We'll try this. Look at the room you're in right now. Look around, and in your head, envision that room is being painted green. Can you do that?
Yeah, it looks horrible.
There you go. But you were able to do it, though. See?
Damn. Yeah, it's a strange one, man. Apparently 20% of people don't have it.
Yeah.
Weird. And it's like and another one as well. Apparently before like 2,000 years ago, around the time they were building the pyramids, a lot of people were just in autopilot. You know, when you're driving sometimes and you end up you go from one destination, you get to the other, you're like, how did I get here? But you're kind of on autopilot. It's not like you're not paying attention. It's just you're not really processing the information because you don't need to. And a lot of people apparently lived like that, like full time a few thousand years ago and didn't really have that inner monologue. It's weird. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, random tangent. I see the red crayon. Yeah, everybody sees the crayon. Look, everybody sees the crayon.
No, Billy didn't.
Oh, right. But yeah. Fucking hell. Rorschach. Imagine what Billy would see on a Rorschach test. Jeez.
That's a dirty sock.
Playing around with this, do you guys think that like some human beings don't see what other human beings are seeing when it comes to themselves? And I'll give you a quick example. When I was a bartender, basically in Colorado Springs here in Colorado, one of my peers that worked with me only drank Dr. Pepper. And in a way, I guess it was like his thing, I guess. He thought like people thought it was cool or something. And from the year and a half that I worked with him, he developed jaundice because he just refused to drink anything but Dr. Pepper. And when people would bring this up to him, I remember vividly trying to show him in the mirror, like, dude, like, look at you, bro. You need water. Like every human being has to drink water. And he, for whatever reason, man, he played video games, drank Dr. Pepper. That was his thing. And so that's what makes me think of that stuff when you're saying, do you think some human beings just go through life so much that they're just at work, then they go home, then they get in the world of video games, and then they wake up, and then they grind the whole thing again. And so it's not even really in existence because they escape into the video game world.
Yeah, I
That's
think some
the
people
ultimate
do
simulation
live like that,
theory.
man.
That's the ultimate simulation theory, because then your life is only one thing: work, sleep, work, sleep.
That's what
What's
it is
that,
for a lot of people right now, just working all goddamn time.
What is that Netflix show, Severance? Huh? That's the one. Reminds me of that when you talk about that, where your mind is separated, your work mind versus your real mind.
Yeah, some people have a better operating system, says I see me. Yeah, very true, very true. And I often think that. Yeah, it's like, and it sounds pretentious, but I'm just glad my brain works well. You know, in the most simplest way I can put it. I'm glad I can have these conversations with myself in my head, you know, just and think about things to the extent I can think them, because that's the best bit about being human, I think. It's just trying to understand the world that we're in and the people we associate ourselves with. Just trying to understand the fucking journey we're on. I'm glad that I'm in a position where I can comprehend it in the way that I do. You know, I don't have millions and a nice car, and I have a decent car, but that's just because I like that car. But, you know, it could be richer, you know, it could be warmer, but, you know, I'm just happy to be able to comprehend things the way that I do. You know what I mean? Am I crazy? I don't
Yeah,
know,
man.
Yeah, I
Definitely
am crazy.
crazy.
Thank you, Macky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thought I'd
Life's
add that
too
for you.
short not to have a nice car, bro. That's how I always felt.
Indeed. Yeah.
Doesn't
You
have
need to
be
have
like
that on
some
a
super.
We need to put that on the shirt, you know?
I feel
Life's
like
too
most
short
men,
not to
that's
have a
their
nice
like.
car.
Most guys would almost probably like to have a nicer car than just some kind of bigger house. You know, I mean, for whatever reason, that's always kind of been. I grew up super fucking
Oh.
poor, so that was always to me the status symbol above even where you live.
Let's hope nobody's wife listens to this, because here comes the question. Would you rather have a hotter wife or a better looking car? Ooh, that's a rough one. I'm not going to answer myself.
I'm lucky, man. My girl's into girls, so we get to have fun.
All right.
She's into cars and ladies.
There you go.
Brian's a winner, everybody. Podcast over.
Yeah.
I was able to skate away on that one, huh?
I didn't expect to get any answers in that, and definitely no straight answers there. So I threw it out there just for fun.
Yeah, Crazy Jay said there, I'm just glad. What the fuck is going on, man? How does anything exist? You know what I'm saying, Crazy Jay? I'm completely on your fucking level, man. It's like, what the actual fuck is going on, man? How does this exist? How does any of this exist? It's wild, man. Well, you know, when you think about it at extreme depths, when you get really high and you think about it in extreme depths, man, like, what the actual fuck is going on here? What is this? What is this reality, man? What is this life we're all living? It's fucking wild, man. It's crazy shit. Sorry, Brian. What are you saying?
I just want to add to that, since you know you got your weed and your mushroom hat. If you haven't tripped balls and watched the James Webb pictures of the galaxies,
Love those pictures.
you are missing out, man. Because when you're talking about like, yo, just kind of take a moment and realize where you are. I mean, we're floating in infinite space. From what I've always understood scientifically, if we are just a couple like degrees closer to the sun, it would be obviously too hot for life to exist. But if we went the other way, it would be too cold for life to exist. So some of that shit to me is always almost been there's too much of a coincidence for me to not believe that something was created or someone was behind that creation. And then I take it to the step of, I think then it was kind of just like set in motion. And then human beings get to be shitty to each other because that's how it was set up.
I don't know, man. It's difficult when you come to the whole creator concept, because I just think it ends up as circular logic, man. And people will say, you know, that atheists think that nothing was there and then there's everything. Well, I think there was a God and that created everything. But it's down to the point of then what created the creator, and it's just a series of circular logic that goes round and round. It's a difficult one, but I love that topic, and it goes very deep. It's a good one. Religion's a good one, you know. Theology, good topic, man. Yeah, especially on those levels as well. You know, when you're thinking about the creation of everything, you know, where did it all come from? Is there a purpose? What the actual fuck is going on? You know, just said it so well there, Crazy Jay. You know, what the fuck is going on, man? It's exact. Does anybody else feel that way, Monkey? Do you feel that way sometimes? Like, what the actual fuck? Do people just pause and think, yo, this is a bit crazy? Do you get that, Monkey? Yeah,
always. But what else can you do but keep on going?
Yeah.
Crazy as heck, but I can't change the simulation. Let's just go with it.
And is it a simulation? That's
well, you see, if it's the simulation, I can blame somebody else for my misery. Like, yeah, I didn't do this. Somebody else did it to me.
You finish the game, you're like, that game was shit.
Now, why did you do that to me? Blame the guy.
It was all good when it was paid to play, but you know, as soon as you go 18 and it becomes fucking a paid subscription, it was a bit shit then. Oh shit. Yeah, simulation theory for the win. We should do another spin because we've been going on for a while. Look, how long we went? 2 hours. We're on now. We'll do one more. Always saying we do one more. I'll take that as a yes. Let's. I'll put the thing on the screen here.
Fucking sitting here stone mad. I didn't realize you're asking.
I've got a full jar. We're good.
Here we go. Right, we want JFK or Moon. No, we just don't want the Alexandria Library, and no, it will land on. Here we go. It's spinning. It's gonna go for Alexandria Library. I bet. Here we go. Oh no, it's skipping it. Oh no. For the final flag, we'll end it here. Right. For the final flag, because this will go on for a while as well. But yeah. Well, we'll carry on. I mean, it's not like I'm trying to rush anybody off, but we've been here for a couple of hours, lads, and I appreciate your time and that. But I don't want to keep you here all night. I'm sure you, especially Connor, you probably got some sleeping to do after being at work all day. You know what I mean?
I'm all right, man. I'm sitting here fucking stoned, man. I'm good to go.
See, well, yeah, we had the flat Earth pop up then. Now, this fucking, I blame the flat Earth for a lot of things, all right? Because this is where internet censorship started. They put out this flat Earth narrative, and people have gripped onto it, and they're like, "Oh, we have to protect information and stop people believing crazy things on the internet. So we're going to put these following restrictions in place to stop people talking about the flat Earth. Because we can all agree that the Earth is round and not flat, and these flat Earth people are crazy. We can all agree on that. We should censor them, shouldn't we?" That's what they're all saying. And it's like, no, you shouldn't fucking censor them. Let the flat Earth people say whatever the fuck they want to say. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Yeah, floating on its own, you know what I mean? It's turtles all the way down. But I not only do not think that the world is flat, I think anybody who thinks the world is flat is, I don't know, man. I can't put it in a polite way because I don't want to disrespect anybody. But you got to stop watching these internet videos, man. It's not good for you. You know? No, what are you saying? Well, Monkey, I think you're a flat earther, ain't you, Monkey? You believe?
Oh yeah, really.
Yeah.
Of course, definitely, man. Because otherwise, yeah, why am I not rolling off the earth?
Exactly.
All the time?
Exactly.
No, I have no clue why flat earthers even exist. It just one thing is, for one thing, you cannot reason with a flat earther. You can try and throw science at them; they don't want to hear it. The flat earthers use their own science.
Yeah,
you know, and their own physics and things such as that. So it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
If it's already come to the point of believing that, then it's like I can't convince you. I don't have the qualifications, man.
I would classify most flat earthers that I've ever met or seen on TV even as science deniers. You know, the complete science deniers. And that's the way it is. And
now we go to Bryan, and Bryan goes, "No, lads, I don't know what you're talking about. The Earth is flat."
I'm into conspiracy theories, but I also want to be pretty level-headed with something. And the flat Earth is funny. I think people saw fame and attention, and that's why, like, the one dude, when he was interviewed by a bunch of news crew, even wrote, like, it'd be the equivalent of when I met you guys, I had a shirt on that said, "I am Bryan Walksman," you know. So it was a very, like, I felt like it was a very egotistical thing, the flat earther conferences and stuff like that. And then there was a plant in the audience when they were asking the main guy the questions, and they asked him, like, are you guys, so where is your I'm butchering this, but he's like, basically, like, where's your organization? Is it here or there? And his response was, "No, we're global." And ever since he responded to that way, everybody kind of, you know, has made memes about it. And I mean, I'm not sure when they teach a solar eclipse to children, but I think my 9-year-old already has learned about that. And so my 9-year-old knows about a solar eclipse and how those things work. And so from that point of view, I don't know how a, like, 30, 40, 50, 60-year-old person could believe in flat Earth.
I just don't see who benefits. You know, like, why? Why would they lie about it? So they can charge extra for plane fare? Come on, well, I don't get it, man. Why would they even do that? What do you think, Connor? Do you think Earth's flat? Yeah, I'm sure you don't, right?
Nah, fuck that. I mean, to be honest, man, I even like the fact that you no, I'm sure you didn't, Connor. Please don't, man. Please.
Please, Connor, please. Even if you do, just say no.
I know, man. It's like some Mike's fucking muted, ladies and gentlemen. Nah, man. I don't. To be honest, the thing that pops to mind, a couple of things really. One of them is I'm not sure about the full details of what this conspiracy theory is. It's like Earth's flat, and there's like an iced ring around it, and we're floating like on a fucking half cylinder floating around with a rock underneath or some shit. That's the picture I've got in my head. That's the first thing that pops to mind. Like that's if that's the details, then that's a good one. And the next thing is really like just an example of how oversaturated we are with fucking bullshit. Like it's insane how many of these crazy stuff. Like no wonder people are disorientated, man. No wonder we could have a fucking 2-hour podcast about flat Earth. 2-hour podcast talking about something that doesn't. It's not even a thing. You know what I mean? 2 hours of talking. So I don't know, man. It's just, but it's that's the thing that really is most explicit when I hear flat Earth. It's just like holy shit, man. Like anything you can say anything. It's like that propaganda statement, essentially. You can say anything big enough and loud enough, and it'll get enough traction. People will believe it, and you know, it's just it's a really profound example of like fucking hell. We're like snowed under with unnecessary bullshit, you know. And that's not even talking about daily news. This is an ongoing, almost meme of a conspiracy theory. You know what I mean? That's you know, it's not like daily news is like daily repetition of the same diluted shit, and then you've got this kind of I don't know, man. It's just. It's a fucking we're snowed under
like,
this shit.
You see that star in the sky and it's moving across. You see a bright star, you know, that's Jupiter, all right? You know, is that round? You know?
Yeah.
You see that star, you see that's Venus? Is that round? You know, so all of these planets in the sky are all round, except for the Earth. Come on.
Well, wait a minute. Flapjacks, pancakes are round and they're flat.
Wow. Mind fucking blown. Damn.
Hey, tortillas.
You're right.
Hey,
You're right.
They're round and they're flat. Maybe we're just looking at them on edge there.
Tacos, you know?
No, man, I'm just, you know, but I mean, that's the argument you get, you know?
A Giant Grassy says there, what about Hollow Earth? That's a different topic. I don't think that it's a real thing, but that's even more possible than Flat Earth. You know, but there's a big section of the Earth that's empty and full of a civilization living down there with spaceships that zip around. That's even more possible, you know, but that's a different topic, that one. But yeah, Flat Earth, man, it's like, oh, come on, don't do it. Don't do Flat Earth.
Do you know the vibes I get from this entire podcast? Same with the first one, we should just call them Anything's Possible. You know, that genuinely how I feel, man. It's like genuinely anything's possible, man. That's what was fucking insane.
This is a simulation, man. This is a fucking simulation, bro. There's no doubt about it in my mind. It just makes mathematical sense.
I like that, man. It's a simulation, but flat Earth's not real. Flat Earth's not contained in the simulation. It's funny.
You don't think we live in a simulation?
I think you would struggle to differentiate between the nature of what it's like to feel conscious and for it not to be a simulation. Like right now, all of us, we're looking at we're on our mics, we're looking at the screen, like you're in first person shooter mode. That's what this is like. Right now, right at this, like as I'm saying this. So it feels like this feels like a fucking game. You know what I mean? So that's where the simulation feeling for me probably begins and ends. Like life feels like a fucking simulation. But I think, you know, it's consequence is what puts it into check. But I think
look at it like 1,000 years in the future, and AI is just about to, you know, kick off right now. And imagine how much we can't even comprehend the technology that it's going to be able to create for itself when it reaches a certain stage of intelligence. And in 1,000 years' time, it's perfectly possible that we could have games and experiences that are indistinguishable from reality. And you could have the option, like time travel, for example. You could go back and live in a certain place in a certain time to experience what it was like, and it is just a game. And if how many people would want to go back to where we had the birth of the internet, the birth of AI, all this crazy shit that goes on around the world right now? It's like this is the time which I would think that I would want to come back to. You know, the birth of
You're thinking something like the holodeck situation on Star Trek, then, where anything can be created artificially so you can experience it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man, crazy. Have you looked into and I'm starting to see some projections about what is the energy cost going to be of developing AI in the future. It's like unbelievable amount of energy being used to develop and run AI right now.
But when we have fusion, in one of the many different ways, we might know that we're on the verge of figuring something out. But you see, when AI reaches the level of intelligence where it's more intelligent than we are, and it can create an AI version of itself that's more intelligent than it is, that's when things are going to change. That's when things are going to go fucking wild. We can't comprehend the things that AI is going to be able to make, and it will be able to make abundant sources of energy. Obviously not free energy because the laws of physics exist, but there'll be a way where we have abundance of energy because of the way it can harness those energies, and we don't have that technology yet because it's just not as smart as the AI is. AI is going to smash it. I have a lot of confidence in it.
The AI is not going to have the oil companies trying to stop them.
Mm-hmm. But AI will be, the Internet of Things.
Oh,
These guys will be just driving down the road in the Tesla, and you hear about that journalist. Yeah, things can get fuckery. The Internet of Things is real. AI is not going to be stupid.
Enemy of the state, right? Yeah.
It's interesting. It's good TV, man. It's a good game we're playing. It's a good simulation. I think so, anyway.
Fucking HD ready.
Sorry?
It's HD ready.
Hey, HD ready, what?
HD ready, high definition ready. Like when you get a television.
Oh, HD ready. Okay.
HD ready.
Okay.
Yeah. That's like
yeah,
fucking...
This is fucking 16K. This shit. I got 400 gigs of RAM. But yeah, man, good shit. It's a shame Ben didn't show up, did he? That's a bit shit. I hope he's all right. I hope he ain't got too distracted. It's not so bad if he's just forgotten. But I'm sure he might be busy at work or something. AI will be our downfall. I don't trust it, says Firetop. That's not very nice to say about our new overlords. Jesus, Firetop.
Don't you just love those computer overlords?
Yeah,
Firetop?
that's right.
Yes.
Don't
happy
kill
that
me,
they're
robot
around.
friend.
That's it.
Oh. Red Eye Guna says, but AI can't replicate itself using only proteins and amino acids like we can. It needs materials. Not yet, Gunner. Not yet.
Yeah, but it knows where to find those materials.
Mm-hmm. And it
From
just
the
harnesses
Internet of Things, exactly. It
just
can
like the
harness them and
Matrix,
order
man.
them. Yeah, it'll order its own materials to its own factory.
That's right. It needs all this computer energy, and they can, because that's originally what the Matrix was about. It wasn't about getting humans and using them for batteries like energy. It was the processing power of the human brain. So the computers just harvested all of the people so they could use the brain power and put everybody in a simulation. That's what the Matrix was. So yeah, they're fucking. I love the sci-fi like that, deep shit. Maybe these movies are just like an insight to what actual reality is, and we're just in a pod somewhere. Some red fluid, all shaven head and dodgy things out in the back of our neck and shit. Very interesting. I see we're just going deep now, and
Very graphic there, Macky.
Yeah, very descriptive. But I think that's it. Unless you want to do one more, what are we saying? Is it getting late? I don't know what you guys want to do.
I got like another 30 minutes of y'all.
What are you saying, Connor? You good?
Yeah, man, I'm alright with that. We'll fucking get this joint sparked.
Throw one more out, Macky. Let's do
All right,
this.
go on. Let's do one more, everybody. Roll yourselves a joint, everybody. We'll smoke one more, and then we'll call it a day. I'll get rid of the Alexandria Library because that won't last very long. We've got JFK on the moon landings, so this will be an interesting one. Let's see. Here it is, everybody. JFK.
No, it's the one you've been waiting on.
Well, yeah, all the moon landings. Either one are fun. But Monkey, you wanna? You're from the USA, so I think it's only fair to let you tell us about what the fuck you think happened on this day.
Well, actually, JFK got killed. There you go. Done. That's what happened.
Solved.
No, I mean, I've always taken it pretty much as it happened as it was pretty much presented, and I've never really looked deeply into the conspiracy theories. I understand that there are some details that are very questionable. I don't have any information. I don't have any theories or anything like that. I have questions, but I do not believe it was a massive international conspiracy by other governments or anything like that. I do think that there was probably more than one person that had knowledge of the event as it was going down, and that other people were never taken into justice at all. But I have no idea what was going on. I don't think it was a ginormous CIA plot. It may have been a small group within that, but there may have been some kind of cover up. I mean, I don't know about the second gunman. I don't believe the second gunman was there. I believe that was more of an echo effect, thinking they heard a fourth shot when they only heard three. There were no bullets from a second gun located in any way. No one was seen with the second gun. So that just didn't hold any kind of water for me. The ballistics and the trajectory pretty much, I think, can confirm nowadays by scientific analysis that the lone gunman theory does work. But like you said, the bullet on the stretcher, I need more details and information on that. It can happen, but there's just so many. The assassination has been overanalyzed to death by so many people that the details are down to so fine of a detail that you can really use the ultra details to almost give any opinion that you want on this thing. Just all I can say is it was a horrible thing that happened, and a whole lot of shit has changed since then. I mean, shit that we never see a president riding in an open car ever anymore.
Yeah,
Never. That ended immediately right then and there.
Yeah, for sure.
The distance of people away from the president during motorcades, armed snipers on rooftops looking for windows and things like that. A lot changed that day. But about a conspiracy, about international conspiracy to do it, I think it was probably a small local group, and we basically got one guy, and that's the guy who pulled the trigger. I think maybe a small group of other people who may have been involved got away. Kennedy was very highly controversial. He was giving civil rights to people that hadn't had rights before. He was trying to advance the country in a forward direction, and it was not a popular move with everybody. So I think somebody got angry, plotted it. There you go. I don't know.
Yeah. So just reading chat there. Just let's be a little bit more polite there in the chat, everybody. Dav says there, keep taking your meds, Zoo. Zoo is entitled to his opinion, just like we are, We might not agree with it, but we don't need to say things like keep taking your meds. Let's be more polite, everybody. Be more respectful. It's just a nice, open conversation in the chat. Let's be friendly. Yeah, but
Yes.
maybe he is an AI bot. We don't know. But yeah, so what do you think, Bryan? Because you're in the USA as well. What do you think about the JFK conspiracy?
Yeah, this should be fun because I have a different viewpoint. JFK gave a speech where he's talking about how secret societies should be repugnant, are repugnant. They shouldn't be allowed in an open democracy. Was pretty heavy on that. Behind the scenes was wanting to get rid of the CIA, not wanting to do like false flag operations. The CIA wanted to do that, I guess, a couple times when JFK was elected, and supposedly Johnson was willing to do those things, and behind the scenes would have happily done some of those things even earlier. And so when Lee Harvey Oswald, let's say, killed JFK, that's the reason why Jack Ruby was sent to kill him right away, is because that actually didn't happen. He didn't actually pull the trigger. He was just the fall guy. And that's why when he's given his perp walk, you could tell on his face that he truly doesn't know what's going on. And then within, I don't know, 15, 20 seconds, Jack Ruby shoots him in the stomach and kills him. And so that's the kind of stuff that is, again, like, you want to go down the rabbit hole. JFK's body was manipulated by somebody before it was sent to the coroner to see, to make it seem like it was shot in a different area. So all of those things, I think, are compelling. And then if you learn more about actually Lyndon Johnson, that guy seems like a gangster, like a thug, like somebody that would sit there and say, yeah, let's do it this way. And I am behind you guys. I'm not shutting down anything in government.
I like it, man. I pretty much agree. I mean, it goes deep, don't it?
Well, wait a minute. Johnson's a Texan too, isn't he?
That I'm not 100% on, but I do know that he was sworn in next to Jackie while she had his blood, and that is some gangster shit, dude.
Lyndon Johnson was from Texas, so yeah. And it's just kind of like interesting that this whole thing went down in Dallas.
See, it goes so deep, man. It's a shame Ben isn't here because Ben, his podcast, Stuff They Don't Want You to Know, and goes into a lot of detail with the whole JFK conspiracy. And it does seem as if it was CIA, man. I mean, that's pretty much confirmed in most cases. You just have to be extremely skeptical to not think it was the CIA at this point.
Well, I mean, I heard that they had a reporter from a Dallas newspaper that received a tip from a friend to, if you want to see the fireworks, be in the area of Dealey Plaza tomorrow for the president. And he was there, witnessed it from a distance, was able to leave and write a firsthand account of the whole thing. How the hell did he know, and who the hell told him? You know, questions right there. Too many questions. So yeah, there was something going on. There was knowledge of the event. I fully believe it. I just don't know how deep it went, but the whole LBJ that's an interesting theory. I mean, they pushed around the Cuban connection and the Russian connection and all kind of things like this for a long time. And I think most of that got shot down.
Don't forget they killed his brother as well because they felt like, you know, the job wasn't finished yet because that dynasty wasn't going to get through.
Right.
The elite said nope to the Kennedys.
Scary. It definitely wasn't, as far as I'm aware, as far as in my opinion, and I'm just a guy, I don't know shit, but in my opinion, it has to be more than just JFK on his own. There's just too many things that are a little bit too dodgy in this whole thing, man. It couldn't have just been the lone gunman. It just there's too many things that just don't fucking add up. The amount of shots that were heard.
Well,
I mean, to be honest, I was even going to say that, man. Just what Bryan said there at the end there. I mean, his brother was killed. Like it wasn't a lone gunman because the guy's brother was fucking killed as well. Like that's pretty evident that there was a fucking like a group mentality towards getting rid of the energy that JFK was fucking bringing. You know.
Yeah, most people say that they fired three shots. Some people said they heard a fourth, and that could have definitely been a echo. One of the shots off of a flat surface across the building coming back at them. I don't really know, but it was a bolt action rifle. It was a Italian made. I believe it was I think it was. Okay, I don't remember exactly the model offhand, but anyway, it was a military style rifle, and yes, it could have bolt action rifle. From the distance, I've been to Dealey Plaza and I've seen the distance. I saw where the first shot was fired versus the window. And even with open sights, that would have been a pretty easy shot for an experienced person with a gun.
And he was experienced.
It would have been totally possible to get 3 shots off on a moving vehicle because he was moving slightly away from him, which means it's a very easy sight picture to hold and things such as that. I fully believe that single gunman could have got the 3 bullets off, and I don't think it would have required another person in the area. So just based on that physical evidence that I've seen, I think it's possible that it was a single gunman, but I don't think that single gunman planned it, executed it, did everything on his own.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it goes deeper than that. But this is what makes it so interesting after all of this time, because this was in 1963. Yeah, it was November 1963 or something like that. I can't remember.
The thing is, just looking back to that decade, like that decade alone, like, I mean, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, this is all, these are all high-end individuals that are serving like a societal purpose that are removed. Like that's not, in the space of 10 years, that's a disproportionate number of extremely important people to be killed without there being a very obvious agenda behind it, you know? Just from my own opinion, just for looking at it, it's like, fuck, man, in the 60s, these people got killed. They were all doing these different things that were all in unison with the best that society had on offer. They were, these 4 individuals that mentioned are completely against fucking secret societies and then, like, you know, coercion and all that kind of shit. And yet they're removed, you know, and then right at the end of the decade, just to fucking segue into the fucking other thing, is the moon landing. Hooray, victory!
Yay!
Let's all forget the fucking past 4 murders and move forward, you know.
Do you not think we landed on the moon?
Nah, man, I don't know what the fuck, but I have no idea. Like, I haven't, again, goes back to that thing where it's anything's possible. I have no concrete sensation of I know this to be certain, because the same information, I think I said it before, the same information that I receive my quote unquote fact from, such as that kind of like moon landing, all these like this is solid fact. It's the same user interface that I watch films on. It's the same screen. I'm completely like sensationally disconnected from what's real. So it's very difficult to be with these things that you're not like a part of and you're not witnessing, to have an opinion that there's a global agenda involved and then these main things to be completely disconnected from it. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's like nihilistic towards it or what, but I think the moon landing was just distraction, you know, that like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't, there's no information after it. But we've barely fucking been back. Then I mean, to be honest, some of the videos I watched about people floating in space and then they fall as if wires are getting fucking snapped and shit, you know, and it's like one of the videos I watched, some guy says they'd mentioned like a shop like 8 miles from here, like, and then they were just looking at him like, mate, what the fuck? You know, which would imply a studio, that they're just sitting like, oh, we're fucking 8 miles from McDonald's. Oh shit, we're in space, I forgot. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I'm again totally disconnected. I have no idea. It just feels like we're being bullshitted for fucking most of these things.
Man, it would be such a shame. But I can completely see why they would and how they would. And they're definitely, I mean, would it be easier to fake it than go to the moon? Definitely. You know, they had to save face because there was Kennedy who says, we will go to the moon by the end of the decade. Yeah, not because it's easy, but because it's hard. Remember that speech?
Mm-hmm.
And, 1969, halfway through. It's like, we better get this kind of done because otherwise we're going to look like fools. But they brought rocks back. They placed like mirrors on the moon that you can reflect lasers off and shit, right?
That sounds like bullshit, eh? I don't know any of this shit, but that just sounds like bullshit.
Oh, man. I hope it
like
was
mirrors. That just says, I'm fucking too stoned, lads. It's just put mirrors in the moon.
But that's it.
All right.
It could be complete bullshit. Absolutely. Fuck. I don't even know. What are you saying, Monkey?
What about the recent photographs of lunar orbiters that have photographed the Apollo 11 landing site, including the lander?
When was that?
Yeah, I've not seen any of this stuff.
Lunar reconnaissance orbiters snapped Apollo 11 moon site. It shows the land. It shows the lander, where they left the camera, discarded covers, all kind of stuff like that.
I'm sure
So
that would have
it's
been
actually-
bigger news. When was that released?
Let's see when this was. March 13, 2012. Man, this is old.
Oh, wow. Fuck. That's ages ago.
Yeah, just look it up. There's actually orbiters that have photographed the site. So I guess they could photograph the photographs, fake the photographs from the orbiter, but we
Okay.
have other ways, We have the reflector that's been left on the moon, and we actually have pictures of the site where they landed. I think that they landed. I don't think there's any doubt that they did it. I think that the guys who did it probably had, more guts than brains, really, because there was only a 50% chance of them coming back when they put them up there. So that's crazy.
And they have a little something here. I can't quite see it. Can't see the picture clear enough.
Oh, it's there.
Yeah, I can see there's definitely a picture here.
Yeah.
Cool. You see, Connor? See?
I know, I'll be honest, man. I was like, yeah, man, fucking.
But then
I'll be
again,
honest,
but then
I've watched
again,
loads-
that's the internet. It could be fake. This could be
Yeah,
fake.
exactly.
Thousands.
You know, like, well, I
Exactly.
think billions of pounds on films and shit, and fucking, you know what I mean? It's like there's no, I can't help it, man.
You know what I mean?
Even, like Elon
Have you
Musk
not
sent his
watched
car into
Avatar?
space.
You know?
Yeah.
Exactly, like Elon Musk with his
Yeah.
car in space and shit. That's the world we're living in. I'm supposed to believe that it's no, I don't know, man. It's fucking, they can fake this shit, you know? Fuck.
Well, we
knows.
got so many different countries going to the moon now. We got China's up there. We got independent missions from the Earth, from the U.S. going up there. I think the Europeans or ESA is heading that direction. Everybody's going to the moon. Sooner or later, somebody's going to go to that site. So if they faked it, I mean, that's just like, okay, you can't fake it. Somebody's going to go up there sooner or later and prove you're wrong.
Yeah, that's it. Eventually, someone's going to go there and drive right up to Apollo 11 landing site and be like, Where's the shit?
They'll get
That's
there and there's
exactly
McDonald's
right.
there.
Yeah, man. What do you think, Brian? You've been quiet on this one. Which side?
Yeah,
you on? Is it fake or?
No, I was listening to what you guys were saying. I've enjoyed going down the rabbit hole just a little bit on most of these, and it's been fun. And I think the thing that makes most sense to me is that JFK overpromised, and so they had to basically fake it till they make it, and so they potentially faked it until they eventually landed on the moon. I do think that we landed on the moon. I think
Cool.
that's not as hard as I think people make it out to be. I think Elon Musk, there's a not a documentary, but a part where he was talking about that and how if the government throws everything at it, it obviously wasn't efficient, right? I believe we spent like in today's money, like a ridiculous amount of money for basically like a dick measuring contest, because theoretically it didn't do too much at first. Then moving forward with like understanding space and all those things, I think that aspect did open up. But we would have had, in my opinion, I guess we would have had to have at least started to really understand space, and landing on the moon doesn't seem as hard when way smarter people than me talk about it, relatively speaking, to all the other things that can be done. And so that from that point of view, that's why satellites are pretty easy to throw up there. It's, how can I say it? The universe from where we're at in our little orbit is very consistent, obviously, right? Like the days, the weeks, all that shit just keeps running in motion. And so from the way that they explained it is basically like when you understand all that stuff, that's why even, Elon Musk can bring back rockets now and land on the same damn launch pad. So, I mean, it's pretty consistent on that kind of stuff, to be able to go somewhere and then come back.
Yeah, man. It'll be interesting for see if SpaceX can send something up there. Just sell. Well, even then, even if you did that, if you sent a fucking a new ship up there to go land and go take pictures, people will be like, "Oh, it's fake. It's AI. It's deep fake. Look at it. It's not even real." It's like you can't win now anyway. It's always gonna be faked. But
that's a good point.
Yeah, wouldn't it be interesting in like 100 years' time if you're able to get holidays up on the moon and it's just got a dome over the original landing site so it's preserved? That would be very cool.
I think Stanley Kubrick could have put that together.
Oh, no doubt. Have you seen 2001 Space Odyssey? Might as well have been a moon landing,
Yeah. I mean, just bounce around, it looks goofy, like some of the early footage. Definitely looks, but we're all a bunch of stoners sitting around in our rooms talking virtually to each other. So thank God they did land on the moon. Otherwise, we couldn't even do this shit.
Yeah, man. And that's it. We're just a bunch of stoners. Let's just bear that in mind again, everybody. We'll just remind everybody we are just a bunch of stoners. Anything that we have said throughout this whole session today is not to be believed in any way. We are all talking absolute shit. All right? So don't get angry at us. Don't sue us. Don't leave us angry messages in the comments on YouTube. We're just getting high and enjoying some conversations about some topics we think are interesting. And I hope everybody else has found it interesting as well, man. Hit that like button if you haven't done that already. But yeah, thanks for joining us, man. It's been a good session. We've had a good conversation about lots of interesting things. I've enjoyed it. Thanks for coming to join us, lads. It's been awesome.
Appreciate the invite, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I love this little group, man. This is fun,
Yeah. We need to go into more I think we need to pick one of the topics and go into some detail, man. Do a little bit of research on shit and come in locked in, ready to go.
I'm down for that. I'll put a little work into it.
Yeah, I'm up for that, man.
Sweet. Let's do it then.
I'm taking time off work for this shit.
Let's have the audience decide. You got to put in the comments, everybody, which topic do we go into more detail with? What do you want to know more about? Let us know, and we'll do some research, and we'll come back and do this again sometime because it's been fun. But whilst we're here, we should let everybody do a quick shout out, let everybody know where else they can find you. Connor, you got your Cannaman TV and stuff. Where can people go find more from you, bro?
Yeah, that's right. Cannaman TV on YouTube, and also www.cannamantv.co.uk. All the animations are on there. You can subscribe, or there's also a new episode of Cannaman coming this Friday on YouTube, episode 5, season 2. It's called For Fishing's Sake. So that'll be on Friday at some point throughout the day.
Mm-hmm. Nice, yeah. Everybody go check that shit out and subscribe. I don't think we have a link. Billy, if you wouldn't mind, can you go get a link to the Cannaman TV channel and drop it in the chat?
Yeah, I'll do that,
He's
man.
a good lad. No, Billy can do it. Billy usually does this kind of thing for us. He's on the ball. He's on the ball. Yeah, he's gagging on the ball, Billy.
I'm just, I almost said something there, but yeah.
Oh man.
Sorry, Billy. Sorry. What are you saying, Brian? Where can people go find you, bro?
On Instagram, please find me at Rubber Ducky Isopods. My website for my business is rubberduckyisopods.com. I just started another business with terrariums. So we partnered up with a company in the UK called Terrarium Tribe. So more friends from the UK family. And this has been fun, man, learning more about like how you guys kind of view the world on your side of things. And even though Monkey and I are in the same country, we still view things differently. And that's what I meant by this group. I like that we can have difference of opinions and not take it so personal that all of a sudden it's like, man, fuck Monkey, fuck, everybody's like, fuck you, I'm out kind of
Yeah,
thing.
man.
Brian, gee, thanks, man.
No, but that's it. And that's how it needs to be. You know, just light-hearted conversation. Can't take any of ourselves seriously because realistically, no matter how much you know, you still know nothing. That's the
Yeah.
way it is, man. You know?
Yeah, I use the computer to learn all this shit. So who knows who's behind that,
Oh,
you know,
Mhm.
and who
plugging
made
it
your
away.
computer? And who's programming that computer? Mr. Bill Gates out there,
That's
right?
Bill
Yeah.
Gates, who is just one of Epstein's puppets. Again.
Mine was Steve. It's Steve Jobs or Bill Gates, pretty much. Like if you
Oh,
really
no.
think about that, because
Yeah.
what other computer brands really are there? There's like a Dell if you're in like a corporate business world.
Yeah, you got
That's about
Linux
it,
out there,
man.
but I mean that's just kind of like a little fringe out there with them.
It's like the BlackBerry of the computers. You know,
Exactly.
very few people.
the BlackBerry. I love it.
Where was the fucking filmy bubbles he's going on about posts in the forum? Jesus, where's that in the list of mail thread? Because he did ask
these
crazy questions.
Those 3 he put up in there.
All right,
Oh,
yeah. So
excellent.
we'll
Right,
quickly
Roving
cover
Re-
these. Quickly
Roving
cover these.
Reporter, excellent. Thank you. He's put the link up.
Yes, nice one, Billy. So many questions I need answers to you all. Perfect. Blah blah blah. Question 1. I think we should cover this next time. We completely forgot about this, and now we're at the end of the show, and we've wrapped it up. But yeah, we'll keep these in mind for next time. Thanks, there, Phil. Apologies. You should have reminded us earlier, man. Shit. Yes. Google went down here today. Yeah, that was an interesting one as well. But yeah, it's been a pleasure, everybody. We'll wrap this up and let everybody go get some rest and go and get a break because we've been here for 2.5 hours. But I hope you've all enjoyed it. You know, I hope to catch you all on the next one. We got one on Tuesday, which is a Q&A with Shanti Baba. That's
That'll
going to
be
be
fun.
very interesting. So come and join us and ask some questions to Shanti Baba. And remind us throughout the show to ask those questions, otherwise they don't get asked. You know what I'm saying, Phil? You know what I'm saying? Apologies, bro. He was high on homegrown for president. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I don't want that job. Nope. Do not want. Nope. Not gonna do it.
I'll take it.
Macky rants for the entire country. That's
I
it,
have
man.
words. I have the best words.
Yes, I have all the best ones. Yeah, best words. Oh.
Stay high and stay safe, everybody. And thanks again for joining us, for Brian and for Connor and, of course, Monkey Doo and everybody in the chat.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, appreciate it, lads.
Catch you on
Appreciate
the
it,
next
man.
one. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.